Now then, let's get started, shall we? Oh boy, that's the wrong thing there. Also, we certainly do love all of that. Hi everybody, welcome to the thing. My name is Cosmo Bergamot. I am the Dean of the School of Conjuration at the Teme Welt Royal Academy for the Metaphysical Arts. And I definitely did not just accidentally restart my whole computer by hitting it with my knee right before we started the thing. With me is a star-studded cast. And we're just gonna need to reload my little thing there. But yeah, with me is a star-studded cast today of some favorites and some newcomers. Let's start with a couple little introductions. Miss Aoi, would you give us a start? Who are you and what do you do?
Hi, hello everyone. I'm a penguin V-singer, so I do streaming, I sing, I play music, and I play TTRPG with Cosmo, yay!
That is a thing, excellent. How about Play That John? Who are you and what do you do?
Hello everybody, I'm Play That John, or just John for short. I am a tabletop RPG player, and I am along for the adventure, so thanks so much for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Karina, who are you and what do you do?
Hi, my name is Karina Betker. I'm a voice actor, and I also love tabletop RPGs. And I've also, funny enough, never seen Labyrinth, so this will be fun. And every time I say that, people are like, "Wait, you've never seen it?" I'm like, "No, my husband keeps on telling me he's gonna show me, and he won't, because he's busy all the time."
You're not the only one. You're not the only one.
Cool.
Karina, I am very much in your corner in that I saw it for the first time last night, so I'm coming fresh off of having seen it.
Yay.
It is so wild that all three of you are... We're completely new to Labyrinth. It's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine.
Look, I know there's puppets, and I'm actually, you know what? I was kind of hoping when I was making my character that there was specifically a Muppet class, and there is not, so I'm kind of sad.
Oh, amazing. Very good. Wonderful. Well, yeah, this is going to be a fun little one-shot, I hope. We're going to be diving into the world of Jim Henson's The Labyrinth, where the Goblin King Jareth and his machinations will try to stop you from achieving your goals. To that end, let's hop over on what the characters are going to be for it. Miss Aoi, tell us about your character a little bit.
So my character is named Aoi because I have a lot of imagination, you know. And my character is a goblin, and they are very good at like hiding and stuff like that, but they're not very good at remembering where they hide the stuff.
It's a good way to be. Wonderful. Excellent. So we've got Aoi playing as Aoi the Goblin. Wonderful. We have another goblin. Hey, Karina, tell us about your character.
My goblin's name is Barf, and they're really good at listening and spotting things. They're not really good at maybe tactfully telling people nicely things.
You don't always need to be very good at all of that. And then we have... okay, and then we've got Play That John. Tell us about your character, please.
Yes, today I will be playing Sir Ember and his trusty steed Plum. You may have heard of Sir Ember. He was one who trained many of the knights of yore, including that knight of Sir... oh goodness. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm not as sharp as my lance once was. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. But I'm not sure how I found myself in the company of two goblins. But perhaps the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So we'll see how that turns out. I have very much endurance and bravery. I'm very chivalrous, but unfortunately, I tend to be a little what's the word is forgetful. Forgetful, that's it.
We have two forgetful characters and then one character that's not nice. This is gonna be great.
I mean, listen, we're gonna rock this. It's gonna be an amazing setup. So, now that we know a little bit about our characters, shall we get into the groove of it,
Yeah.
Indeed.
then let's begin. Dawn. The labyrinth is spread out before you, crawling over the hills surrounding the Goblin King's castle. Descending the slope, you are confronted by a wall beyond which lies the labyrinth's first ring, the maze of stone corridors that you glimpsed from the hilltop. Let's put you guys in the correct map here. There we go. A square, stone-lined pond filled with brackish water lies nearby. No openings or gates can be seen. No footprints mark the sandy earth. You find yourselves in front of the large, thick, imposing stone walls. Sir Ember, you and Plum have some experience being in and out of the labyrinth. After all, you've been quite a lot further than the outer walls. The land of Yore, from whence you come, is pretty deep within the outer walls of the labyrinth, but on a quest, I'm sure it was an important one. It had to do with saving damsels, or was there a dragon? You can't really remember. It took you outside the walls, and now you're on your way back. Barf. The Goblin King has done something, and it didn't sit right with you. What's your problem with the Goblin King?
He stole my soup spoon.
Oh, the soup spoon
It was
is...
my favorite soup spoon. It was tiny and small and fit in my mouth perfectly. And he stole it. And I will never forgive him.
That absolute scoundrel. You intend to get that spoon back.
How am I supposed to eat soup? It's my favorite food.
Indeed, without the spoon, your soup, you will be soupless. What kind of self-respecting, upstanding goblin can call themselves a goblin without the soup? And so your revenge begins. Miss Aoi, you too have beef with the Goblin King. What did he do to you?
Oh, he did something awful, absolutely the worst ever in the world. And when I tell you, you will be angry with me. I promise you. The only thing is, I'm not quite sure what it was, but I'm sure it was very awful because I won't be so angry if it was not. I'm sure.
Oh, 10 out of 10. The revenge desire burns within your body, and you know that it must be directed against the Goblin King. Who else would it be directed against? He's, after all, the big guy on campus. And, Sir Ember, it is in the company of Barf and Aoi that you find yourself on your way back into the walls. But you can't quite remember where you came out, or indeed, how to get back in. So, friends, what would you like to do?
Is this a door which I see in the... Is there a door here? Do I see a door?
Where there might be something that feels like a door had ought to be there, it doesn't really feel like it. You think that maybe a door would be there if the context were correct.
Huh. Well, no time like the present then. Charge, Plum! And we just charge towards the wall.
Oh, I like you. I was going to throw a rock at it.
So, Sir Ember, you begin charging forward. Plum, your mount, skitters forward with you. And as you approach, and you should be able to move your tokens around freely and drag them around onto the map wherever you'd like. As you approach the wall, you hear some voices.
Who?
The first steps out of a shadow that you didn't exactly see before. It's a short, kind of stocky-looking dwarf. He's round, almost spherical. His skin sort of a leathery dark brown, and his hair pulled back tightly against his head under a leather cap. And he gives you a wave.
Who are you, ugly man?
Whoa, then, no need for the words like so. My name is Gloam, and I'm here to help you enter the labyrinth in the smart way. And as soon as he says
that's a dumb
this...
name for having a smart way of getting into the labyrinth.
A deeper voice booms out from the other side. What can only be like a humongous sloth covered in mossy green fur kind of lumbers off the top of the wall. You thought perhaps it might have just been like a big collection of moss, but as it tumbles down onto the front, you see that it's got a face. Don't listen to Gloam, says this big sloth. If you want to enter the labyrinth's walls, you must do the wise thing and come with me.
The fuck is the difference between wise and smart?
We got our first F-bomb, everybody! Oh, amazing, very good. As you make this question, it sort of falls off of your lips, and when you look back, you see that where Gloam stands, he's definitely, like, not the best-looking dwarf you've ever seen, but then again, dwarves kind of don't look, like, great, really, right?
No, all dwarves are ugly and bar size.
Where he stands, you see that it is an old wood and sort of like rusty metal kind of thing. He stands over here. It's as though someone had left a door far underground in a wet basement forever, and then took it and put it on the outside of the labyrinth. But over where the other creature is, this sort of large, slothy, bear-like object, you see his door is stone, carved stone, overgrown with moss like that which grows on his body. Do not listen to Gloam. He only thinks in the short term, but Loma will help long ways. Now then, you don't have to listen to that stupid old sloth. You want to get in quick, you want to get in the right way. You'll come with me.
Question: was that short comment to make fun of me?
No, nothing of the sort. Of course not. No, we would never make fun of travelers.
Wait, hold on. How come you talked fast there for like 2 seconds and then you're back to being slow?
These are the two different. The two different characters are responding at the same time.
Oh, okay, got you.
Gloam kind of looks nervously.
Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven. That was your name, right?
It's Gloam, but okay, we'll take
my
it.
Apologies then. Why should we not go with Loma?
Well, like I was saying, Loma sort of goes slowly. You want to do the smart thing. You come over with Gloam, you know. Loma is... I mean, just look at them. I'll have you know, the slow way is often the better. And they start to kind of argue with each other back and forth. They've seemingly forgotten about you for a moment. What would the three of you like to do?
Can I look at the wall itself and see if it's climbable? I don't like either of these people!
Yeah, Barf, as you approach the wall in between them, would you kindly make a roll to spot and look around and find things?
Okay, cool. That's actually... Oh, I rolled a 6, and also my traits are listening and spotting.
So when you have a trait that gives you that sort of edge up, then instead you will do an improved roll, where you roll 2d6 and take the better of the two.
Okay. Well, I'm going to
Excellent.
assume that the 6 was the better one.
Yeah, well, we've got what we're getting on it then. Wonderful. Barf, as you step forward, you note that while there is a door behind Loma and Gloam, there is an optical illusion almost, where when you approach this center bit and you look at it from just the right angle, there is in fact a door there too. It's very normal, like a single slab wooden door with a piece of metal across the front of it that just kind of isn't there if you're not looking correctly.
Can I open it?
You reach up, and as you push the door, it... And instantly
Hey,
both of them...
we're just gonna ignore these chuckle fucks and go through this door.
Okay, I follow you.
Then, suppose there's a better way, then come on, Plum.
Barf doesn't deal with people that are doing a whole bunch of poems and nonsense.
Amazing.
My tenacity.
So,
I don't
when
like
we...
riddles.
Go on.
Goblin King speaks in riddles. I had to deal with that for 20 years.
Sounds abysmal.
It was. Thank you.
10 out of 10. When we move between scenes, I'll have somebody, whoever did the most recent progressive thing, roll 2d6s, and then that will dictate how far forward we go. So, Barf, since you were the one to open the door, go ahead and roll 2d6 for me, please. 6 forward indeed. The three of you walk through the outer walls. And in both directions, as soon as you get inside, it seems like the labyrinth just kind of goes on in a straight line forever. But a few steps down, you note that there is a hole in the wall. Like someone took a sledgehammer and just kept smashing as they walked forward. Rather than breaking through to the other side of the wall, however, it forms an unnaturally long tunnel through the brickwork. At last, it reaches a round red door with 6 hands protruding from it at eye level. What would you like to do?
Ooh, that's rather troubling,
I want to rush and shake the hands. Can I?
Oh, I was going to
shake
do
your
the
hand?
same. I'll do the same. It's the chivalrous thing to do.
You're too slow.
So, Sir
Indeed.
Ember and Aoi, you rush forward and seize one of the hands. Each, and in doing so, you hear a... Let go, let go, then.
Apologies.
The hands form a sort of face. Several of them, like 2 of them on the top, making circles with the fingers to make eyes. The 2 at the bottom making the bottom jaw. The 2 in the middle making a sort of like nose and top jaw kind of vague face shape. And there is a moment where it seems to like shake itself a little bit as if to regain its composure. Welcome to Hole in the Wall. You are honored guests, I'm certain. Who has sent you to us? The voice seems to be coming from the hands. You're not sure how.
That's funny. Hole in the Wall was my mom's name.
You certainly have a sense of humor there, small goblin friend.
That wasn't humor, that was just the truth.
They kind of like break apart for a moment, and like a couple of them make like a single face, like single hand face at each other, and they do a little tittering laugh before reforming into the face again. Now come, tell us, who has sent you to the hole in the wall?
It's someone incredible, and if I were to tell you, you would know that it is a very amazing person and very famous, but also I don't remember their name. So, I think... And also, you know, we're not supposed to tell it, so... Well, you know...
Miss Aoi, you seem like you are trying to fast talk your way in. Will you go ahead and do a roll to see how well you'll do on that one? Convincing the hands is only a difficulty 3.
Okay. 1d6, right?
Unless you've got something that makes you good at lying to people.
No.
Opa!
I'm not gonna
We got our first natural 1!
I'm not good at lying.
We're starting out strong. In the Labyrinth TTRPG, a natural 1 is called the Owl. It draws the attention of the Goblin King, and something bad happens.
That's great.
When you mention that you shouldn't say his name, all of a sudden all of the hands kind of draw back against the door. And then one of them kind of peels off and makes like a little llama face and says, "You don't mean the Goblin King sent you?" No entrance. We are closed. And then it flattens itself against the door again, and you see all 6 of the hands are just sort of like wide fingers pressed as flat against the front of the door as they can.
Do I see anything on the ground?
This area is, like, there are pieces of rocks and, like, little piles of dirt and things from what must have at some point been like a mining operation to get to this place. But you also note that there is an empty like knife scabbard about 6 inches long or so. No knife, just the scabbard, sticking out from under the door.
Can I take it?
Why, absolutely you can. You reach down and pry it out of the door. It's made of leather, it's got like a little metal tip on the bottom.
Okay, I'm going to say, open up, you stupid door, or I'll throw this empty scabbard at you!
That sounds like you're trying to intimidate the door to opening. Will you go ahead and maybe make a difficulty 4 roll for this?
No!
Rather uncharacteristically so far, one of the hands peels off and makes a rude gesture at you before, putting itself back against the door. It seems like you are running out of options for getting inside.
Let me try talking to them. And I mosey over. I am Sir Ember, son of Lord Flame and Lady... Well, son of Lord Flame, and I could swear that these goblins are not in the company of the Goblin King. In fact, they are rather perturbed at the Goblin King, and in fact are trying to make their way back to exact their what's the word?
I'm gonna kill him.
Revenge. Oh yes, that. So if you could let us inside, perhaps the common enemy that we share could be brought to ruin.
There's a moment of pause. Now you're trying to sweet talk the door. Go ahead and make a difficulty 4 check for us, Sir Ember.
Hey!
Well. You make your grand statement for a moment, and then there is silence for a full 3 seconds before the first hand peels off and makes like a little hand mouth at you. And it says, You mean you're not from the Goblin King, and you also don't like him?
Well, I've never been a fan. It seems my two colleagues happen to feel similarly.
Bastard sold my soup spoon!
Well, that's one way to put it.
Well, if you put it that way... And the door swings open. Inside, you see, peculiarly, a fully furnished bar, it seems. It's filled with, suddenly, as soon as the door opens, you can hear the raucous sounds of patrons arguing, singing, drinking. Clusters of fairies, worms, goblins, and dwarves mill about, grabbing food and drinks. Every so often, a floor tile will flip over and a small humanoid-looking brick keeper will pop out. There are several more hands sticking out of the wall here and there that hold people's coats and hats. And it's a generally pretty, jovial and festive kind of situation. You find yourselves able to go inside.
In we go.
The first person you see sitting at a table nearby is a short, ruddy-faced, sort of dwarven lady. She looks over at you, and she holds up a tankard that is about as big as her entire head. And she goes, "New friends!" And then throws back whatever is in the tankard. It splashes all over her face, soaks through her hair.
I'm gonna yell back, ugly people!
And several of the goblins that are here and there sitting on top of tables or hanging from the chandelier above, they all, "Hooray!" It seems you may have found some kin. The dwarven lady leans back and says, You look like adventurers. If you are looking for a job to do, you can certainly help me out." And then she tries to drink from the flagon again, but it is empty, and she throws it haphazardly over her shoulder.
Let me go to the bar to get her another tankard, so that I might hear what this adventure is, or what this task that she has is. So I'll grab a flagon and I'll bring it to her, and I say, well, it seems that the dwarves have also perfected the art of what we call quaffing, which is very similar to chugging, except your feet get wet. Many of the knights of yore have done such this measure. Please, have this tankard and tell me more about this task that you have.
She reaches up with a thick hand and claps you on the shoulder, and it's almost like you've been hit by a truck, the way that this reverberates through your body. But she is jovial about it. She takes the tankard and slams it down on the table. And she goes, "Right, so I had a magic little square. It had buttons on it with numbers and a little piece of glass that changed when you pushed the buttons. And I've been told it's used for the magic that is called arithmetic. Someone in this bar has seen it. And I don't know who, but I do want it back. Find who's got it, bring it back to me, and I'll do something nice for you."
Arithmetic. All right, I shall work hard to find this device. And I will relay to my partners what we're looking for.
What is it that you're looking for, huh?
Yeah.
I guess it's a magic square with, gosh, it was for something. She just told me. Oh, right, arithmetic. Yes. I've heard of such a device.
Wonderful, then. With this information, you share it with your erstwhile companions. Barf, Aoi, what do you think?
I look at Sir Ember and just like tilt my head and be like, a square to do what?
With a magic of numbers.
Yeah,
Numbers,
map.
numbers. Oh, okay. And I get ready and I want to roll under all the tables to see if I see numbers.
Oh ho. You seem like the type of person that would be pretty good at this, don't you think?
Yeah, I can sneak.
All right, then you'll be making an improved roll here to look around under the tables and make sure that you don't get stepped on by bigger people. It's going to be a difficulty 3, let's say.
Hey.
All right,
I got
excellent
a
work.
4.
So, Aoi, you instantly dive under the nearest table and begin rooting around in between people's feet and around the puddles of random stuff, the little piles of what must have at one point been bar food, and you scrounge around. You zip back and forth between table and table. You manage to pull the string laces off of one boot just enough so that you can get past them when they move their shoe to retie them. And you find that there doesn't seem to be any number of any sort under any of the tables. But what you do find instead is under the table on the far right, there is a smaller table about 6 inches tall under the first one, around which are sitting 3 sort of caterpillar-like worms. Each of them has a little cup of tea. And one of them looks up at you as you sort of scuttle under and says, "Hello there! You've come to have some tea with us then, have you? Sit, have a cuppa."
I sit with them, but I do not drink.
Oh, why not then? We've got some great tea. It's amazing, don't you know? And you see one of them, like, it's little caterpillar legs, but they manage to sort of find a way to pick up their tiny thimble-sized teacup and sip from it. And as it sets it down, says, "So, what are you doing down here then? Not many folk like you come under the tables and hole in the wall."
I'm looking for numbers. Have you seen numbers? I think it's numbers, right?
Numbers? Looking for numbers, is it? And then the 3 of them kind of like put their heads close together and whisper for a moment. And one of them looks back and says, "I saw the bartender having a little sort of square with numbers on it, if that's what you're looking for."
Oh, yes, that's it. Thank you. Wait, who's the bartender?
The bartender, when you look, you see
No, I'm asking in character.
Ah. The worms all put their heads back together and whisper again, and then one leans back and says, "Her name's Dagmar, I think. She's so big, and she's kinda like slimy, but she makes some good tea."
Okay. Thank you, friends. Enjoy
come
your
on.
tea. And I'll be back someday, maybe.
Have another cuppa the next time you come, then, eh? And you skitter back out from under the table. Sir Ember and Barf, you see Aoi back and forth between the tables and then skitter out with a sort of mischievously successful look on their face.
I think I'm still deep in conversation with the dwarf about where was the last place that you saw it, and are you sure that it's not in your pockets? That might be a common place.
Oh, I'm quite sure it's not in my pockets. I don't have any pockets, you see. And she sort of like pats her belly and like her shoulders and things. And you can tell she definitely would have pockets. She just hasn't figured out how to use them yet.
Mm-hmm. Anything?
What was that?
Oh, did you find anything?
Oh yeah. I found something.
Something is better than nothing?
Yes. It's slimy.
Oh. Slimy. And I look around if there's anything slimy.
And big. Yes, big slimy thing I found.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Big.
and tea. No, wait. What?
Big, slimy, and starts with a T.
No, tea to drink?
T stands for troll,
says a sort of weirdly deep gurgly voice standing behind the bar.
and Dagmar is a troll. What you want to drink, small people?
Beer.
Oh, slimy and big.
And the blood of the Goblin King.
There is a pause there, and the barkeep, this gotta be like 8 feet tall and at least that wide, sort of like
Can you
weird
translate
glistening,
for EU people?
like 2.5 meters tall and at least that wide. It sort of stands there for a moment and like cocks her head to one side, and as she does, you can hear the of the slime on her neck moving, and she goes,
You want to hurt Goblin King? You friends of Dagmar.
and she reaches under the bar, lifts up a humongous barrel and slams it down on the bar top, and then sort of tilts it toward you, Barf, and just like a waterfall of beer falls down on and at you.
Oh, heck yeah, I'm drinking it.
And then as she sort of tilts it back, sets it down, and then she reaches around and scrambles out like a little, like, black sort of plasticine square, sets it down on the bar, and then kind of punches it with her finger a few times, and she goes,
Many customers today.
Sir Ember, you're close enough to see that this thing has a bunch of buttons with numbers on it.
Dagmar, we're looking for a magic number with squares. No, a magic square with numbers. Have you seen such a device?
She, like, puts her finger down on the equals sign, and it, like, makes a number on the screen, and she looks up at you and goes,
No, don't know what numbers is.
Thing that you have there.
Oh, you want special square?
and she slides it forward, and as she pulls her finger off of it, like a couple little strands of slime stay with it and snap back up to her finger, and she goes,
Friend of Dagmar have magic square.
You would give this to your friend?
Small friend need gift.
and she rumbles around like in her pockets and sets down next to it a bundle of fabric kind of tied up into a little bag that when she sets it down, it squelches and like liquid seeps out the bottom of it. And she says,
You take both.
That's generous, Dagmar. I'm afraid we have nothing yet that we could provide to you as of as of now.
Dagmar will remember you. You be nice to Dagmar.
Of course, that's what friends are for, are they not?
Barf, as you sort of have been doused in the beer fall, it's not bad. Like, as a denizen of the labyrinth, you guys don't get high quality drink very often. And as a result, you note that after you have had your fill of it as it was coming down, there are several small, like, fuzzy-looking, four-legged creatures about the size of, like, a ferret that have kind of scurried out and are licking the sticky beer off of the bottoms of your feet now.
Can I step on them?
Scrunch.
As your foot comes down on it, it kind of makes, like, a noise, and when you pick your foot back up, and it reinflates and, like, looks up at you and goes, "Hey, where'd you come in this spiders?" And then runs away.
Get off my feet!
As it gets, like, back towards, there's, like, a little crack in the wall. It pops its head back out and, like, raises a little fist at you and goes, "Yeah, your mother sucks eggs," and then disappears.
Who?
How dare you speak of my mother in that way? She was a very nice lady.
One of the other goblins slams their fist down on the table and says,
Yeah, Barf's goblin mom was great.
and then looks over at you.
Was a pleasure.
They make eye contact with you, and then, like, the knowledge that they had just said that thing kind of flashes across their eyes, and they immediately look back down into their tankard and start drinking. Sir Ember, you have this slime-covered square.
Yeah, I do. Did she lay down a package as well? There was like a package that was wrapped.
Yeah, it's like a pouch of some sort made of like a thick fabric that is just absolutely drenched in horrible slime.
And it seemed like she was giving this as a gift to us.
Seems that way.
A gift for small friends, so I guess the goblin friends. Well, I guess I'm small as well.
In comparison, you certainly are.
Yes, okay. I would like to, well, it would be rude to, I don't know, is it more polite to open this here, or is it,
Open it! Open it!
Okay,
Open it!
all right,
Open it!
Okay, all right. And I will, he takes, okay, so I open the fabric very carefully, trying to avoid as much of the slime as possible. Not to be rude, but just to kind of be sanitary. And see what's inside.
Inside this horrible slime-encrusted bag is a collection of irregularly sized glass marbles.
Oh, Dagmar, they're beautiful. Thank you.
Dagmar is no longer paying attention. She has turned around and is, like, moving a shelf a little bit to the side, leaning back, looking at it, moving it back, leaning back, looking at it, licking her thumb, and then, like, sliding a little bit of slime up the side of it, and then crossing her arms as if to say, like, yes, I have done a great job.
I'm still making a big deal of the, oh, lovely. Oh, how wonderful. Friends. Oh, Barf, Owie, come see.
Can I take a closer look at the marbles?
Yes, absolutely. You probably should make a roll for this one. If you've got the specialty, you'll do 2d6.
Does spotting count as the specialty?
Oh boy, I should certainly think so, yes.
Oh, my highest roll is 5.
5 is good for this one. Being a goblin, you have seen the Goblin King do his weird, like, spy on people thing before, and you know that he does it with a completely clear glass sphere. And you note that there is a small one very similar to it in this bag. You think that maybe you can use this little glass marble to peek in on someone or something later on.
Ah! That thing is to spy on people. The Goblin King would do the same thing when he wanted to spy on girls or something. I don't know.
Well, it seems this is very much in your wheelhouse, so I'll let
I
you
don't know
be
much
the
about the Labyrinth,
caretaker.
but there's some girl looking for a baby or something. He was doing it to spy on her. There's some allegory about old men liking young women in there. I don't know.
I believe he had a knight in his company. It was Sir, oh goodness. I'm not going to find it. No, sorry. But it does seem that you have a particular propensity for this device, so I'll let you be its caretaker.
I take it.
You've got one single-use scrying orb.
Cool.
The dwarf lady looks back at the square that you are holding, Sir Ember, and says, "Oh, that's it. That's the thing I'm looking for. Quick, give it here."
Oh, right. I'm so sorry. I completely forgot there what I was even doing. I'm not as sharp as my lance once was.
You're a funny little fox.
You're not sharp at all.
Yes, that's. There are those who say so. Yes. Here, take this.
And she takes it from you, wipes it on the front of her shirt, leaving like a thick green stain across it, and then sets it down and punches a couple numbers on it and says, "I'll tell you what I'll do for you is I'll give you a little shortcut." And she pushes the equals key, and on the screen are the letters DOOR. And she sort of like points over at the wall, down on the bottom part of the bar, where there was not a door a moment ago, but there now is.
Barf hates riddles, and I go to the door.
What? Yeah, I'm making a big deal. Well, that was very well done, team. And I turn around and Barf is not even there. That was well done, team. Great team. Oh.
And while everyone is leaving, I want to, if she's putting in somewhere, I want to try and get it, like, you know.
You want to pickpocket the magic square from the dwarf?
Hell yeah.
Borrowing without asking at best.
She might be paying attention, she might not. This feels like it's probably a difficulty 4. If you've got a sneaking type thing, you'll roll 2 dice instead. Show us what you got.
Okay. 6. 2d6, yes.
Hey.
I got a 4.
So you see as she like turns, she sets the square down and then grabs her drink again. When she tilts her head back to drink, you just swipe it off the table, stick it in your belt, and disappear. Excellent work. So far, so good then. The door leads into a short, like rugged hewn hallway, much like the one that you went through earlier. But it spits you out in another one of the sort of like stone wide corridors. Let me put you guys on the map here. Like so. A cheerful buzz seems to fill the air here. High-pitched voices are humming and chatting. The passage ahead seems to be blocked by a dense miniature city growing out of the walls, populated by several hundred brightly colored caterpillar-like worms. Dozens of tiny bridges span the divide, creating, frankly, an impossible tangle to get through. As you approach, the whole colony suddenly goes silent and looks over at you.
Hello there. We just happen to be passing by. We don't mean you any trouble.
What's all this then? Looks like we've got 3 big folk. Have you come in to have a spot of tea with us?
Tea sucks, you got alcohol?
Well, you're very forward about it. Nothing wrong with that then, eh? Listen, right, you want to get some of this good worm booze? You got to trade us something for it, yeah?
And the one that's talking is like a sort of bright, sort of fuchsia purple maybe 3 or 4 inches long at most. He's got like a little like sun hat on.
I'll trade you that I won't step on you if you give me that alcohol.
There is a moment, and then a couple other worms kind of like skitter up, and they turn towards each other, put their heads together, and do some little whispering. While this is happening, Aoi and Sir Ember, what are you doing?
Yes. Oh no. Oh my. So I don't want to trample through this city. Is there a means to get past it without totally crushing it?
There's a possibility that you might find a way to very carefully pick through it. But, I mean, it is pretty strongly tangled up. You could just, walk through it, but, I mean, the worms live there.
What thinkest thou, Plum? And I look down at the mount.
Your mount is like a boar or a wild pig,
Yeah,
right?
He's like a truffle pig, but he shows the same amount of age as Sir Ember does. He's got, he's graying in his hair and his tail, and he's got gray around his eyes and whatnot. So he's old and sort of a little forgetful as well.
Plum kind of like nuzzles the ground a little bit, looks up, turns his head kind of back towards you, and then just kind of goes...
I see. Indeed, Plum. Quite a conundrum.
The worm wearing the hat sort of turns back and rears up a little bit on like its back body and looks at you, Barf, and says,
Well, I'll tell you what then. My name's Chaz, and I'm the strongest worm of this whole here colony. You wanna tangle, then your fisticuffs are gonna be with Fisticuff Chaz. You catch what I'm saying, bruv?
Right? I think I'm just confused. For like both in game and out of game too, because I'm sorry, I don't think my English level is good enough to understand what's going on, but we'll just say that it's the same for my character.
Don't feel bad at all.
I will
That
tell
was...
you, Owie, I didn't understand what he said, and I speak English.
Yeah, I think he went full like Cockney British slang, like street there.
It's worm dialect. It's worm dialect. Barf, you pick your foot up and go to stomp down on the worm. This is a physical check.
Cool.
It's going to be difficulty 4. They're pretty small, and they seem like they might be quick.
Yep. Oh, that's a 2.
You, sort of with a little snort, you bring your foot up and then stomp down on top of Fisticuff's Chaz. And you think like, okay, no more worm here. This is not an issue. But what you rapidly realize is that your foot is not all the way down on the ground. And when you look down, you pick your foot back up to see Chaz has lifted some of his caterpillar feet up and caught your foot, preventing you from slamming down on top of him. And in fact, he kind of pushes your foot away and you stumble back a step. And then he kind of flexes his caterpillar arms and he says,
I done told you, yeah? You want to get in a fight, you gonna fight the right way, eh?
This worm is mogging you, straight up mad dogging you.
Well, we can't have that. Charge, Plum!
Yeah!
And Plum and I just charge right through the city as best we can, if I can coax him to do so.
I
you
told
and Plum
you guys if you gave us alcohol, I wouldn't step on you.
My heart's not really in this, but we must get through.
You and Plum have been around each other for quite a while. You kind of have that bond. It's not hard to spur Plum right through. You crash through this admittedly fragile city. All of the bridges kind of snapping and several buildings toppling over like little Jenga towers. And you are on the other side now. You find yourself having crashed through and made a path for your companions. And all of the worms, except for Chaz, have scattered back into the walls. And you see Chaz looking over at you, Sir Ember, and then looking back at Barf, and then looking up at Aoi and saying,
I remember this. You ain't seen the last of Fisticuff's Chaz.
and then he turns and stomps as much as a caterpillar can
I'm
stomp.
gonna yell back at him and say, yeah, well, you haven't met my mother yet. She'll get you herself. I'm deciding Barf is a real mama's boy now. Like,
Hole in the wall? I didn't know
Kind of
Hole in the wall was such a
manifested.
fighter.
Let's see what we got here. Oh, excellent. This is so dumb. Chaz stops, looks back over his shoulder, in so much as that a worm has a shoulder, and says,
I done met Hole in the Wall once already, and she done nice things to me.
humph, and then he stomps into a little hole in the wall.
well, wait until she hears about what you've done since.
You know, Aoi and Boff, I would feel bad about what just happened, but I think karma balances itself in that we did return that magic to that dwarf. At least has it in their possession.
Yeah,
God.
we did return it.
Yes, that provides such a good feeling to know that that person has their device back.
Yeah, that's true.
Kept it.
Huh?
I think it would have been better if we kept it.
Oh, well, I think it's best that we didn't. We balanced our karma in that we returned an item and destroyed a city.
And this is the moment where coming off my pocket is just falling because it's not fitting in there. It's like the magic square is just falling from my pocket.
Sir Ember, you don't exactly notice it. You have like a very long eyebrow that has come down and brushed your eye, and you had to brush it out of the way.
I have a trait in spotting. Do I see it?
Oh, you absolutely do, Barf.
Cool.
I think I'm
you
too busy
see
rubbing Plum in the head and, brushing
for sure.
bridge dust off of his mane.
So Barf, you spot this, and Aoi, you know that Barf knows, but Sir Ember does not seem to.
Cool.
'Tis a good feeling indeed. Come, friends.
I slowly go down, pick it up, put it back into my pocket without stopping watching Sir wait, I forgot
Ember.
the name, but
Sir Ember.
Sir Ember, just to make sure he don't see me. I'm just looking at him, just picking up it very slowly and putting it back in my pocket.
Amazing.
Come
As the three of you continue down the hallway, it opens up into a sort of break area between the stone walls and the edge of the thick growing hedge maze. And, incidentally, this is a good time for us to take our first 5-minute break. A great time to go to the bathroom, get snacks, get drinks, take medicine if that's a thing that you guys need to still do. We'll be back in 5 minutes, everybody. Let's go. Now then, let's get back to it, shall
Back
we?
to it, shall we?
Yeah.
Amazing. Welcome back, everybody. I hope that you all had a good break. I hope that everyone in the classroom also was able to do decent break things. You know, snacks and tea and all that sort of business. How's everyone feeling? We doing okay? Are we getting into character pretty well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderfully. I love this pairing with two goblins. It's too much fun.
Oh yeah. This little like ensemble trio is very entertaining so far. Oh, I'm excited for it. So we are now back in game, and furthermore, we have gone through the first chapter into the hedge maze. A couple little updates. Barf, you now have the quality rival to worms.
Oh, what does
We're
that
not.
mean?
We have no idea what that means.
Hey, so do I put that under traits?
You might put it under traits, or you might put it under the negative one, whichever
Oh,
one
what?
you think it is.
I think it's fun. Quality of worms. Got it.
Rival to worms is such a great sentence. Yeah, let's see. And then Aoi, you've got the quality sticky fingers.
Sticky fingers. Okay.
You know, one, because you stole things, and two, because the thing that you stole was sticky, so sticky fingers.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
And Sir Ember, you've got the quality gallant.
Oh.
Worm.
Now, it's such a great sentence, right?
Yeah, no,
So.
it's fantastic.
So then, back to it, shall we? We're gonna go to the folder with the hedge maze, and like so. You enter into the hedge maze. The walls are thick green foliage, several different types of leaves, all kind of whirling and weaving together to make it so dense and thick that not even a worm can fit through. When you come to the first intersection, you see 3 stone-lined ponds in a large circular clearing. There is no bird song, no sounds, no wind, and yet the water ripples as if blown by a soft breeze. Let me put you guys on the thing. We got a Barf, we got an Aoi, and we got a Sir Ember. And we need to change the music to this one. So, friends, what would you like to do?
You said that these are like reflecting pools, that there's water?
There is what appears to be a shallow, maybe a foot or so deep, like 20 centimeters deep, in each of them. The wind is completely gone. There is no movement in the air, and yet they ripple.
Okay.
What does ripple mean?
The water kind of moves in little tiny waves.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
I'm going to approach the leftmost basin of water and get a closer look.
Would you kindly roll a d6 for me, please?
Certainly. It's a 2.
Well. You gaze into the surface of the water, and it stills around your reflection. You see the whole labyrinth is in an enormous cave. Underground, it seems. Strange glowing crystals on the roof. There's a kind of shifting dream-like light. That's strange because the sky above you right now is completely clear and is in fact a
goblin friends. There's something interesting about this water. What do you see in the others?
I'll go to the other. I'll go to the one in the middle.
I'll go to the one on the right.
All right,
The
Barf
last
and
one.
Aoi, you guys want to roll me some d6s?
Does this count as spotting?
It would. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Okay, very good.
6.
So then, Barf, when you look in, everything seems to be completely overgrown with vines and flowers. There's a sort of thick fog that rolls back and forth. You can see the exits from this area in the hedge maze seem to twist even more complicatedly than they already are. And Aoi, you see night. But not just night. Up in the sky there are 6 full moons that cast a sort of pale light down onto everything. Something about this specific image makes you feel a little uneasy.
I don't like it.
Yes, I'm not sure mine is the way forward either.
There are, of course, 3 other just footpath exits from this area, too.
Indeed.
I would not
That
go
empty
through
scabbard.
here.
You do still have the empty scabbard, Barf.
Can I throw it into the water?
Which one do you want to throw it into?
The middle one that I'm looking at?
So you fish around for that scabbard, and when you pull it out, you chuck it down into the water, and it makes a little thwoop as it passes right through and disappears.
Ah, shit. Well, now I lost my scabbard. I'm gonna go in for my scabbard, guys.
I know. I'm going to pat Barf on the back and say, "Oh, there will be other scabbards, but there's only one." Oh,
Nope,
well,
nope,
okay,
I'm in
there
there.
he goes. Yes, yes, indeed, there he goes.
All right. Barf, you sort of reach into the water, and it's almost like you are pulled forward by like a gravity. Your arm goes in, it goes up to the shoulder. You look back for just a moment, and then your whole body is enveloped in the water.
Yeah.
But it's not like you're getting wet, because you're actually coming out of the water. Like falling into the water actually fell you out of it, and you're just very vaguely damp. But as you stand on the other side of whatever this thing is, sort of stumble a little bit to catch your feet, you see your scabbard, and there are already roots and vines beginning to grow over it on the ground.
Yeah, shoot. I'm gonna, try and rip my scabbard from the vines, I guess.
They don't seem to be super strong. You reach down,
Okay.
pluck it out, and you have the scabbard back again, and the vines and roots sort of withdraw back into the earth.
Yeah, that's right. Get back, you fucking plants.
There is a howl somewhere far away. You can't even tell which direction. Sir Ember
Can I
and
look
Aoi.
back at where I fell from? Is it another reflecting pool that looks back on Ember and Aoi, or am I just plopped in the middle and there's no way back?
Oh no, when you look back into the pool that you stepped out of, you see Aoi and Sir Ember sort of looking into it. And Sir Ember and Aoi, you see Barf on the other side of the water.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Can I step back through?
Absolutely easily. You put your foot on the water, and as if you are being rotated around the axis of your foot, you are pulled back through. but right before your head passes through the water, you hear humongous footsteps approaching. And then
Yeah,
back into the other side.
Alright, I'm getting sick of all these goddamn puzzles and shit. There's something big back there, and I don't know what the fuck it was.
Yeah.
You wanna try one of these other ones?
It doesn't sound like the best path forward. No, perhaps should we just try one of these exits on this side?
Yeah, we
Barf.
can go through the water.
When you look
What?
at the water again, you see
Okay.
a shadow start to creep over the edge of the water, as if something very large is approaching that pool.
I'm gonna guess that something really large is coming this way, and it can also step through this pool, so we should make a choice. Fast!
Can I grab the two goblins and say, if you don't mind, and then we just spur Plum and we go as fast as we can in a direction.
Yeah, you will definitely need to make sure that you can physically do it. This is probably a difficulty 3 roll to just grab them both by the scruff and then have Plum do the quick running. Difficulty 3, please.
Oh, sorry. I rolled twice there, but the first was a 6.
Ah, there we go. Easy, easy. Barf and Aoi, you feel your feet get lifted off the ground and are suddenly just taken. When you look over at your erstwhile carrier, you see that Plum is kind of galloping, and you can see like a little teeny bead of sweat coming down its ear onto its head. Excellent. Would someone kindly, I think it would be Sir Ember this time, roll 2d6 for me, please?
He's apologizing the whole time, too, because he feels bad about grabbing them up, but, he wants to get out.
No, of course,
10.
of course. Yeah. Wow, that's big number. We like that. Move forward to...
Setting them gently back on the ground, and I'm so sorry about that. I thought maybe we would make tracks.
It's fine this time, but you do that again without asking, and I'm gonna have some words with your fucking hog here.
Yeah, understand completely. Indeed, it's no, Plum. It's perfectly fine that they feel that way. We did pick them up. It was rather rude and sudden of us. Good show, by the way, Plum.
And you see Plum kind of nuzzles into the ground a little bit and then pulls up a piece of grass and just munches on it. But as this happens, the further on you go, the more noise you begin to hear. The ring of steel and the roar of a crowd. A young woman in a duelist's uniform seems to be fencing with a fox, Sir Ember, perhaps one that you might know. Back and forth across a manicured garden strewn with obstacles. Let's see if I've got the right minis for this here. Got the fencer here. And then we've got I don't have a fox, unfortunately, but I do have a cat. The cat will have to do. There we go.
Sure.
All around the periphery, onlookers observe the exchange, breaking into applause when a combatant makes an impressive maneuver. Before long, the woman disarms the fox, sending her sword flying into a nearby hedge. The crowd roars in approval, and the woman shouts, "Well, who's next?" Behind her stands a flowered archway leading deeper into the hedge maze. And she looks over at the 3 of you. You see a grin spread across her face. New challengers, perhaps?
The tournament, I can't resist a tournament.
You want to fight her?
Well, in my youth, I was indeed at the Battle of, I can't recall.
Well, here's a scabbard. Maybe you'll remember where the sword is. I give him the scabbard.
Have at thee.
Sir Ember, holding this small scabbard, you look down at it, and then you see the woman. She's got like a sort of Venetian mask over her eyes, and like a big flowery cap. And she looks down at you and says, "You didn't bring a weapon with you? Well, I suppose you'll simply have to borrow one." And she looks over at the fox that she just beat, who was digging their sword out of the hedge maze. And she kind of like makes a little gesture with her head. And the fox approaches and holds out the sword for you. It is slightly too long.
Do I reckon? Can I roll to see if I recognize this fox?
You might be able to. But you are
taking
a
the
little
disadvantage.
forgetful. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do it at a hindered roll, so twice and take the lowest. Interesting. Yeah.
Did I do that correct? Okay, yeah.
You did, yes.
Yeah.
You do recognize this fox, and she recognizes you right off the bat. You are looking into the face of one of your previous paramours, years and years ago. This is your ex.
Oh.
And she looks at you for a moment, and you see the like realization dawning across her eyes. And she goes, "Sir Ember, what a fancy place to see you in." And she looks at the sword that's in her hand and looks over at you, and she says, "If you need a weapon, you can use this one." But then she puts the point of it on the ground and steps on it, and it breaks the blade in half. Now you've got a somewhat blunt, significantly shorter sword. She flicks it around and just sort of shoves the handle at you.
What are you doing here? How did you come to be here?
How did I... Sir Ember, you forget yourself. You use the first name of someone you've so deeply wronged before.
My apologies.
Speak no more to me, caitiff knight, and do your little duel.
Very well.
And the fox looks back at the lady and says, "Madame La Roche, pick him apart." She steps off. The lady kind of like, she watches this whole sort of exchange happen with a sort of bemused look on her face. And she looks over at some of the other people that are like sitting on the edge of the hedgerow and says, "It seems it's trouble in paradise." And all of them start laughing and jeering.
I do the usual chivalrous sort of holding my sword up, bowing to the other person. I'm making a big show of it, of course. It's a tournament. And then we charge.
All right, then let's get ourselves a little more atmospherically correct here. Here we go. The first clash happens on a number of big stone pillars, about 2 feet wide or so. Go ahead and make a difficulty 5 roll to fight for me.
Oh gosh. Having been sort of a brave knight, might I be able to roll an improved roll on a tournament?
I think with the gallant sort of setup, you definitely would know your way around a proper duel like this one. We'll give it to you improved, yes.
Excellent. Oh, it's a 3.
So, your first advance, you step forward and thrust, but there's not enough blade there anymore, where what would have hit comes a couple inches short, and she easily parries it down to the side and then baps you on the top of the head with the flat of her blade. That's 1 point towards La Roche. The second clash happens on the bit of the rock garden that stands nearby. It's sort of unsteady footing. There's a number of large boulders.
I think I look at my, as we move, I look at my goblin friends a bit more worried now, having gotten conked on the head at least once.
I'm not looking
Aoi,
at you.
Barf, what would you like to do?
I'm not looking at the thing.
Can I just grab a handful of sand?
Oh,
And
easy.
when he gives me the signal, whatever that is that I interpreted it, because we didn't discuss this before, I'm going to throw the sand in her eyes. But again, it's going to be on a signal that I'm just going to look at him and I'm just going to be like, you see the sand I'm holding? Kind of idea with my hat, with my, yeah.
Excellent.
I think we square up for this second one, though, and he's still, you know, we might have lost the first round, but he's ready to, you know, challenge again. So I do see that, and we line up for the second.
All right, this is another difficulty 5 fightin' check.
Okay, still improved.
Yes.
Excellent. Aha! How about thee?
Well, well. She seems to have taken to the idea that this will be an easy little encounter. So she sort of like hops back and forth on one foot and manages to, as she goes for a thrust, lose her footing just slightly. You manage to parry to one side and then catch her on the back of her knuckles. She almost drops her sword, and she sort of swings it back and forth as if to shake the sting out of her knuckles. When she looks back up at you, you can see her Venetian mask is slightly tilted, and she fixes it and then makes a little grimace.
Oh,
That's
she
a
has
point for the both
mascot.
of you. The eyes are open,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, it's like a, you know, a masquerade mask. It's got like little
Right.
pearls and stuff on it. That's a point for each of you. Sir Ember, you have the advantage on this one. What part of this battlefield would you like the next encounter to be on?
So we have, this is like sort of some foliage, there's rocks, there's these broken sort of columns, there's a bit of water. What is over here by the goblins?
Over there is a sort of flat, open area with a sandy floor.
I think we pick. I stand. We set up close to the goblins.
She follows quickly, her footsteps light, and she does like a big flourish with the sword. And she says, I have trained for 100 years with the greatest swordmaster the world has ever known. I will defeat you.
That's interesting, for I do not remember training you.
Oh, the talk there throws her off her groove. The fight's difficulty rating is going to be reduced down to 3 for this one.
Excellent. I think we line up, and I'm like still, I see that Barf has a handful of sand, and I just shake my head, maybe like, no, I think we're okay. And then I charge.
Show me. Amazing. Yeah, show me what you got there.
Oh, I seized, so the sand just went everywhere.
Amazing. Very good. Very good. So Barf, did you take this to be the signal then? The little nod?
I don't understand yes or no. I just understood right. You looked at me. I'm taking that as the
Oh, exceptional. I think that's gonna reduce because of the sand, yeah, that's gonna reduce it down even further by 1. Sir Ember, you are, of course, also afflicted by the sand.
Yep.
But what we would do then is take the lower of your 2 rolls, which still is a 2, which still gets the point. Excellent teamwork.
GG, everybody.
While they do those things, can I look around and sneak around and try to see if there's any way of going out without taking part of this nonsense?
Oh yes, you absolutely can. Go ahead and make a little sneaky sneak roll for me, please. Most of the eyes will be trained on the combatants, so it's going to be difficulty 3. Easy, yeah. You suddenly sort of just blend in near the edge of the hedge maze, and you can see that the only real exit from this place that isn't the direction you came from is on the other side, a sort of flowery arch that leads further down into the hedge maze. And the arch itself seems to be like closed with more plants that are growing in from the sides, as if to almost act like a gate made of flowers.
So we can't just go through?
Oh, you totally could. You just have to find a way to push through them.
Okay.
This is 2 points on Sir Ember and 1 point on Madame LaRoche. This is the decisive point. Sir Ember, if you can win this little clash, the fight is yours. You have the advantage. Where is the last bit of the fight taking place?
I think having both of us gotten a face full of sand, we now move as far away. We're like...
Wait, hold on. Before he picks, can I look around and see what would be the advantage and maybe, point where he should go?
Where he should do it? Yeah, go ahead, Barf. Make a sort of spotting and looking roll for me.
Hell yeah.
Down for me, Barf.
Oh,
Double sixes! Boy, oh boy, talk about good luck there.
Yeah.
Barf, you have watched this lady, Madame LaRoche, fight for a minute or 2 now, and you note that her back foot is somewhat infirm when it comes to moving backwards. You think that maybe if Sir Ember can force the movement backwards, she might tumble off of something. Like, for instance, this raised stone area here. And if she steps and falls off, well, the fight is virtually over.
Right. So I point at that area and hope that he sees me and just be like,
Sir Ember, you've got sand in your eyes right now. If you want to be able to see this, it's going to be a difficulty 2 check.
Okay. Hindered or just rolled?
Just normal right now. Excellent work. Your thick, bushy eyebrows kept most of the sand out. And as you look, you see Barf kind of pointing up at the raised platform.
Good, very good. Shall we move to the platform then?
And you see LaRoche kind of turn and quickly run up after you. She hops up onto it, and she turns and she makes a big flourish with the sword. While this is happening, Ms. Aoi, you note that everybody's attention is over here, but what you've found the exit to be is over in this area here. And furthermore, you see that there is a row of people sitting on top, on the edge of the top of the hedgerow, kind of watching the fight happen. And the one closest to the door seems to have a large brass key hanging from a string on their belt.
I'm gonna try to climb to go to the place where this guy is and try to just take the brass key without him noticing.
Well, the climb will be a little more difficult, but yeah, go ahead and will need a difficulty 4 check to climb up the hedge maze first.
So 1d6.
Yes. Oppa! You
Well, I am
reach
not
up.
climbing.
You reach up and you try to grab some of the flowers and leaves to climb, and when you put your weight on it, it pulls right out, and you fall back onto your back, and the bit of leaves that are in your hand, when you look up, you've made a little hole, and inside of it you see he's got to be maybe like 20 centimeters tall or so, and he's got like a very wide furry face. He pops out of that little hole, and he says some very rude things at you for messing up his front door, and then when he goes back inside, he comes back out with like a tiny little cup, and he throws a bunch of water on you to be insulting.
Not the water.
Sir Ember, you have the advantage, and you've got the forward on the trash talking, but she's kind of recovered herself now. This is a difficulty 4 check, but you have it improved.
Here we go. Huzzah! Oh no. Oh no.
With a sort of furious push forward, you go to make a cut. She steps to one side, kicks the bottom of your shoe to throw you off balance, and then pushes. And you fall backwards into the water. She stands on the edge of the embattlement there, and she looks down at you, and then looks back up at the rest of the crowd, and says, "You have not bested me, little fox, but I have defeated 2 foxes today, and you are the more gallant of the 2. You may pass, but remember, you did not win this fight." And the crowd around the outside starts like throwing little pieces of confetti paper and such. One of them throws what might have at one point been like a gold coin, but which has now been bitten on so many times that it just kind of looks like a little flake of metal. And they seem to be very pleased with this outcome. And you see Madame LaRoche turns and salutes the whole audience with a big flourish in her hat. She puts it back on and looks back at the 3 of you and says, "Go then. But if you see any others who might be formidable opponents, please send them my way."
I make a big, deep bow. As we stand back up, I brush a bit of water and muck off of Plum. I hop back on. I bow deeply to the madam. Do you want this back? And I hold the sword.
Petunia, you see, is sitting on the edge of the hedgerow, and she looks down at you, and she makes a rude gesture at you, and then turns and looks the other way.
Well, I offered. And then I just start walking towards Aoi and the way out.
Excellent. So then, Sir Ember, you've got a broken sword for your inventory. As the 3 of you approach the flowery arch, it sort of parts by itself. And when you look back, you see that Madame LaRoche has her hand up, as if she controls it. Let's see. Ms. Aoi, you are the closest to the arch right now. Will you roll us 2d6s, please?
All right. Eight.
Plus 8. 15, 18, 20. Ooh, we get to move forward then. The hallway, in such that it is a hallway, a corridor of greenery on either side, an open sky on top, leads down, down, and down further, a straight line for several minutes, until it opens up into a familiar-looking place. It's a forest. Open ground and no more maze so much. Let me get to the correct place. Boop-a-doop. And we get the music correct as well. There we are. You recognize this immediately as the Land of Yore. This is the place where you are indeed from, Sir Ember. But it's not your home. You're not quite sure where actually your home is in this place anymore. You're trying to remember. In fact, now that you think about it, the last time you thought about where you actually lived was the last time you saw the Goblin King. And you recall him walking away with a little pink bubble in his fingers. Now that makes sense. That's why you have to meet with him. He took the memory of your home from you, and that simply won't stand. As the three of you continue on, the open ground is sort of wet, brackish almost, and you find that you have stumbled into a patch of quicksand. Before you can scramble back to solid land, the three of you all feel yourself start to be dragged downwards, and the items in your pockets start to be sucked into the gross mud. Now there's an odd sensation.
Can I just... I have sticky fingers. Can I just grab my square so that it doesn't leave me?
Oh,
and it
absolutely.
Stick to my fingers.
This is a difficulty 2 check to keep it, and because you have sticky fingers, you'll be doing it improved.
Well.
Shoo-hoo. Yeah, easy. You feel the square begin to leave your pocket, and you just reach down and cram it back in. In the meantime, though, Sir Ember, that new sword you just got, and Barf, you can feel the marble kind of wheedling its way out of the bag in your pocket.
Oh, god damn it, is he stealing from me again?
I reached to grab it, stealing myself and taking a moment to calm my nerves. And then
Barf has had this happen to him before. So he is not calm at all. In fact, might be having a little bit of a reaction.
Now, each time you do any action, you will increase the depth in which you are in the quicksand by 1. Currently, you have your feet stuck inside. The following things are examples of what you might do here. You might try to escape. You might try to help someone else escape. You might use an item or combine items in some way. Basically, any action that takes 5 seconds or less. But, Barf, your sharp eyes catch something. Go ahead and make a spotting and looking check for me, please, at difficulty 3.
Okay. Thank God I have...
Hoo boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that advantage is nice, huh?
Yeah.
For the briefest moment, you remember the last time this happened to you, and the panic kind of washes for a moment, but then you see, down sort of mostly submerged in the sand, there are items, several items that other people must have lost here. Perhaps you can get some of those out as well. So, each of you gets to do an action. Start with Miss Aoi. What are you trying to do?
I want to try to get out by just using like light movements so that I can just like slide myself, like, you know, just slide myself to the edge of the
pool.
I forgot the word.
The quicksand. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
You are pretty good at sneaking. You might be able to sneak out of the sand while it's not looking at you. You're not sure if it has eyes, but it's difficulty 6, but you do it improved.
Okay.
Oh,
Well.
so close, so close. You start to kind of move slowly, and when you pull your foot up, you feel your shoe start to come off of your foot, and you put your foot back into it. It wouldn't do to lose one of your shoes. Sir Ember, what have you like to do? You and Plum... Well, I guess it's really Plum's feet that are stuck. You are technically free.
That's true, but as an extension of myself, we feel stuck. So, endurance is mostly about steeling yourself, mostly about calming your nerves. I take a second to just breathe, to think, to use my brain, to solve the puzzle, to solve this issue. So I think in this first one, I am calming myself down using sort of an enduring trait so that I can escape.
Okay. You are calm about it. You yourself are free, but obviously Plum is the one that needs out, so you are helping Plum to escape. This is a difficulty 6, but because of your composure, you'll be doing it improved.
Here we go, Plum.
Such a shame. 2 4s. You start to help Plum by coaxing and making, like, easy noises to get her to move the correct direction, but she seems to sink just a little bit further in. Barf, you are up. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna say to Owie, hey, Owie, look below. There's items. They can help us. Because you're good at grabbing things.
Yeah, definitely.
That's gonna be what I say.
All right.
To Owie. Basically helping Owie, I guess.
Okay, we can get behind it then.
I will use my action to help Owie grab the items, yeah.
Nice. Okay, then wonderful, yeah. You sink in just a little bit deeper. It's coming now up to your shins or so. Everyone has basically like a 2 points in quicksand submerge, and it's rapidly going to start getting dangerous. Miss Aoi, you're up. What would you like?
Well, I hear what Barf is saying, and I look down. I'm not sure I can really see anything, so I'm just gonna
But I'm helping you, so
yeah. I'm gonna look back at Barf and be like, okay, I trust you, you are my eyes. And I just close my eyes and then just put my hand in front of me, like to go down the sand, the quicksand and try to grab stuff. And waiting for instruction from Barf.
This is a difficulty 4 check to try to find something in the quicksand, but because of Barf's help, you'll do it improved.
So I do 2?
Correct.
Oh my god.
No!
Oh my God. And then our adventurers died in quicksand.
Aoi, you plunge your hand into the quicksand, and it pulls you down deeper. You are now at 4 depth, which is a lot of depth.
Yay.
Sir Ember and Plum, you guys are at depth 2 right now. What do you like to do?
We would like to slosh over to where Owie is and try to pull them up and out.
Okay, you can reduce Aoi's depth at the cost of adding 1 to your depth. Would you like to do it?
That's fair, yes.
Oh my god, it just ends up being a scene from the Never-Ending Story. Where
I know, I was wondering if Plum just
cry.
needs to believe. Believe, Plum.
Amazing. Very good.
So Plum... I have seen that horse die and I've never watched that movie again.
Yeah.
Hard limit. We're not letting Plum die in the quicksand, I promise. Oh, excellent. Very good. So Sir Ember and Plum squidge over to Ms. Aoi and pull her slightly up out of the quicksand, but sink in a little bit further themselves. Ms. Aoi, you are at 3, and Sir Ember and Plum, you are at 3. Barf, what have you got for us?
I'm gonna stick my own hand in there and try and grab some stuff.
All right, this is a... it's a difficulty 4 check, but because you are good at spotting things, go ahead and make it improved.
Oh, first one's a 6.
There we go. Excellent work. So, the thing that your fingers close around is something relatively like thick and smooth, and you pull it up out of the quicksand, and it is a small inflatable lifeboat. It could fit maybe 2 normal humans, and you 3 are smaller than humans. When you pull it up out of the quicksand, it instantly and inflates into a boat that sits on top of the quicksand.
And I say, get in!
Excellent. Barf, you do not decrease, or rather, you do not increase your depth.
Cool.
Ms. Aoi, you're up next. You've got one arm still stuck in the quicksand as well. What would you like to do?
I guess it's gonna be hard to get inside the boat, right?
I mean, you certainly could try. The boat is in between all 3 of you here.
Okay, so I want to try and use my other arm to grab the boat and try to slowly pull me up.
Give it the best that you've got. Because the boat is there, it's only a difficulty 4 this time. But you're doing it as a normal roll because your other arm is still stuck.
Yeah.
Whoo hoo. With a kind of wet sound, you tumble into this inflatable boat, and you lay there for a moment looking up at the sky as the wet sand kind of drips off of your body. Sir Amber and Plum.
We will attempt to hop into the boat as well.
Do it your best, because you are still, I mean, you've got the composure necessary for it, but you are still kind of deep. It's going to be a difficulty 4 check that you'll be doing straight.
Oh no! 2!
So, Sir Ember, you grab the edge of the boat and you pull it kind of towards you and Plum. And in the process of doing so, your boot sticks into the sand and plop, kind of gets sucked down into it. You have missed 1 boot. And furthermore, Plum is a little bit deeper now, kind of maybe up to the shoulder. And Barf, what have you got for us?
Oh gosh. I'm gonna help Plum get into the boat.
All right. Barf, because you were able to pull the boat up before, I'm going to say that it is possible for you to get in and pull Plum up at the same time if you make it a difficult check, or you can get in by yourself and make it an easy check.
I'm gonna do the difficult one.
Okay. It's difficulty 5 then, please.
Well, I made it 3.
You've done your best. But you end up just kind of halfway over the edge of the boat, your feet still in, and Ember and Plum still kind of stuck there. Aoi's the only one who's actually in the boat. And it is at this point that you hear footsteps approach. When you look back, you see a human girl. Those are very rare. She's got long sort of black hair tied up in a ponytail that reaches down to the middle of her shoulders. She's wearing a kind of loose fabric shirt with a depiction of several other humans holding musical instruments on the front of it. And it's they've got kind of band jackets on. If you are able to read, you can tell that the words are My Chemical Romance.
Nice.
She's got in one hand a sort of black lace umbrella, and as she looks over at the 3 of you, she goes, Oh my goodness, is this quicksand? Oh no, I've seen this in cartoons. How do you guys need help?
Yes. Obviously.
Okay. How do you get out of quicksand? How would?
Yeah, don't think quickly or anything.
Listen, okay? I'm like 12 years old. The only time I've ever seen anything like this is in a Bugs Bunny cartoon. So if you will give me a little bit of time to think. And then she looks up like she's had an idea. And she goes, I've got it. And she takes the umbrella and she holds it up over her head, and the shadow cast on the umbrella makes a black circle in the center of the quicksand. And instantly, Sir Ember and Plum, you two fall into that black circle like it's a hole. And a moment later, you feel yourselves falling and falling and falling until you splat, land over on the side of the edge of the quicksand.
Oh, just like your bunny of bugs.
And she kind of like does a little sheepish
There's
grin.
a bunny made of bugs?
It's his name. Listen, here, and she takes the umbrella, closes it, and throws it over to you, Barf. Aoi, you are in the boat and could jump from the edge of the boat to the firm ground. But Barf, you're still in danger, and you've got this umbrella now.
I lift the umbrella like she did.
When you lift the umbrella up, the shadow comes down directly on top of you, and you begin to fall.
Yeah!
Fortunately, because you're holding the umbrella, it kind of whoof, and then starts to parachute you down, and you end up landing over really delicately next to Sir Amber and Plum.
Cool.
Ah, thank you, young lady. Thank you.
Yeah, totally. And then she looks over at you, Aoi.
And I just take one, like I put one leg behind me. I don't know how to explain this, but like to have more so that
More
I can
power
jump,
in your jump.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
not
thing.
difficult to jump to the edge, and you manage to hop on over and land on the solid ground. The girl sort of like reaches for the umbrella and motions for you to give it back, Barf.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Here.
And she takes it and she pops it back open and puts it on her shoulder, and she goes, So, do you guys have any idea how to get to the castle in the center? Because, I mean, I gotta go get... It's a long story, but there was a weird man with big sort of 1980s hair, and he showed up in my... Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill him!
Well, before you kill him, can you get him to tell me where my parents are?
No promises!
All right.
Oh, come now.
Look,
Surely
no,
we can do
you
such
don't
a thing.
understand!
Barf.
The man stole my soup spoon! It's the
Oh.
only
see-
spoon I have for soup!
Well, that makes things totally different. I didn't know that.
Exactly! Soup is my favorite food!
I
How am
suppose
I
we'll-
supposed to eat soup without my soup spoon?
Slurp.
My
it?
mother gave me that spoon!
Oh, your mother hole in the wall.
Yes!
You see the girl kind of like makes a bunch of like confused faces and very slowly just kind of... Right.
Soup is very sacred amongst us goblins. Aoi knows what I'm talking about.
I know none of the goblin
Yeah.
ways, but we'll do our best, young lady. What shall we call you?
You know what? I'm just gonna... I think maybe I left my oven on further back. I'm just gonna... And then she turns
Your
and
name
just
is
kind of...
Oven?
I've got to go look at the things. Bye. And she
disappears back into the hedge maze. It seems like maybe the soup outburst has intimidated her a little bit.
Fed,
Well, Oven was a weird person.
best of luck with your romance with chemistry.
Not sure how much chemistry an oven has.
Oh, goodness. Oh, very good. We love it. Whew. It is not difficult to skirt the edge of the quicksand and go further on. And it is about now that we can also go further on to our next break. We'll have another 5-minute break here that we can use for food and bathroom and all that sort of business. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Excellent. All right. Then, for you in the classroom, go to the bathroom, get drinks, do the stuff that you need to do. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Here we go. Now then, let's get back to it, shall we? And here we go. Welcome back, everybody. I hope that everyone had a good little break and was able to do all the stuff that they needed to.
Yes.
Is everyone still having a good time? Doing still good?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This game is ridiculous, and I am a super big fan. Yeah. All right. So let's do another little update of the stuff happening. You have found your way through the land of Yore and are heading now into the Goblin City. You know that the castle is at the heart of the Goblin City. So you must be getting close, surely. So, we're gonna do a couple little music-y updates as soon as we move to the next good place here. Start like this. And we do like this also. There we go. When you find the gates to the Goblin City, it's somewhat familiar to two of you. Sir Ember, you've never actually been through the main gates to the Goblin City before. The Goblin City is a weird kind of like ruckus and like rock place. It's not really your full vibe, but you've approached the sort of like a outer gate, the Barbican, before the gates of the Goblin City. And as you approach, a steel colossus, just maybe 20 feet tall, we're talking like, 8 meters or so tall, detaches itself from the gates and lumbers toward you. Let's put you on the map. There's Ollie, there's Barf, there's Sir Ember. And then this is a very large metal gentleman. So, what would the three of you like to do?
Owie, Barf, is this a friend of yours?
Do I recognize him?
Yeah, Owie and Barf, you would both recognize this guy. His name is Humongous, and he's not actually that big. This is a big suit of armor that's being piloted by a goblin who lives sort of like up in its head.
Hey, Hugh.
There is a moment, and then and a long pointy-eared goblin head pops out of a little like patch and looks down and goes, "Hey, Barf."
So, we can get in, right?
What's the deal with this weird fox guy? He don't look like a goblin.
No, he's not a goblin. This guy, I just met him, and, he said he was gonna help my mom.
Oh, he's gonna help hole in the wall.
Yep.
What a great guy, huh? Listen though, like, I still gotta do my job, or else they're gonna give me, like, a worse armor, and I'm gonna have to go sit at, like, the north gates or something.
Oh, God, the North Gate sucks.
Yeah, like, it's super not good because, like, the land of stench is kind of out there, too, so I'm looking really sure to, like, make, keep my job here and all that. Can I just, like, smash him, like, a little bit, like, real quick? Say I did my job?
Can you take, like, 3 hits?
And
I'm not sure if I could. Plum is rather fragile when it comes to hitting.
What about 2?
N-
Just some small little punches.
What if you pound the ground and we just say that, you did your job?
I don't know, I think people are gonna notice that you didn't get hit at all.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're gonna be walking in and you're not gonna be like a flat sort of red wet paste or something, and, my job is to turn...
How about we just give him a black eye, is that good?
there is a pause. Just,
Oh, I'm not sure I like the logic in any of
Hey,
this.
hey, hey, it's better than being paced.
This seems like goblin logic to me.
It is. Very much is, actually.
While they're all talking, is he standing in front of a closed gate?
The gate actually, so like the two pieces of the gate that are humongous slammed together, and each part of the gate had half of the armor, and when they came together, the armor stepped forward. So there is a large, like, two-piece metal gate right behind him.
I think while Barf and him are debating how many black eyes or how many pounds, we just run between the legs of Humongous and try to go through the gate.
Ooh. Sir Ember, you are trying to
Yeah.
make a rush for it. Aoi and Barf, what are you two up to? I mean, Barf, you're still having a conversation with Hugh here.
Very much so.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm. Wait, go ahead.
no, you go for it.
Okay. So while they're talking, and I'm just I didn't even say hi, and I'm just like walking around. I'd be like, I'm a goblin. All goblins do that. Who cares? No one's noticing me. I'm just a goblin. And I'm just gonna go through the door. I'm a goblin. No problem. Sure. And I just like go around telling myself that.
So it's like you're hiding in plain sight, almost. Aoi, would you make like a sneak-in check for me, please? You'll do it improved because you are in a place where you're supposed to be. You're trying not to look conspicuous. Let's
Yeah,
say that
so I'm
it's
good at
difficulty
sneaking.
3. Nice,
Yay.
very good. Yeah, so Barf, as you have this conversation with the tiny pointy-eared goblin that's sitting in the cockpit head of this giant armor, Aoi, you just kind of slide around the side and you push the gate open. And it is at that point, Sir Ember and Plum, that you make your attempt at it. Now, if you are running through this thing's legs, it's gonna try to stop you. This is definitely gonna be a pretty difficult check. Do you have anything that you think would make it an improved roll for you?
Would we call this a brave move at all?
I certainly think it's very brave. This thing is maybe
Excellent.
7 or 8 times your size.
That is we have the trait endurance and bravery, so hopefully we can use that.
Bravery it is, then, yeah. Go ahead and make it improved, but it's difficulty 5.
Okay.
Show us what you've got.
Okay.
Woo-hoo.
Oh, it's a 5.
Oh, excellent. There is a moment, and your eyes pick up the opening of the gate, and instantly it's now is the time, and you just like spur a little bit into Plum's like haunch, and you just and glide right through the Humongous's legs, and you see him like look down and raise his big club up, and then he just like looks back behind him, sees that you're already through the gate, and then looks back at you, Barf, and he goes, "Man, they're gonna transfer me to the North Gate for this."
Yeah, well, that sucks, buddy. See you at the family reunion, and I just walk past.
Oh, amazing. You saunter right past. After all, you're meant to be here, of course. Oh, amazing. Oh, God. Hey, Barf, will you roll 2d6 for me, please?
Yeah.
God.
Oh, that was a D4, sorry. Hold on. There we go, and there we go.
Woohoo, we'll add 9 to the scene, which means we get to go to... Boom, here we go. The Goblin City is a wild place. It is full of strange folk, small and big and pointy-eared and round and hairy eyebrows and all manner of stuff. And it's raucous. As you pick your way through this city, you hear a sudden voice. "Help! Let go, you little little cretins! Pushing their way through the crowds, you see a group of goblins leading a prisoner, clearly a traveler caught attempting to reach the Goblin King's castle, toward a grim stone-walled prison. They are bound in chains held by 4 goblins, while several more poke at them with spears from behind. As you watch the scene, a voice whispers in your ear. Quickly, I need your help. We'll put you guys over here. There we go. And let's see. The traveler is a kind of a stocky dwarf, somewhat tall for a dwarf. They seem to be in pretty big distress.
Well, sucks for them.
They bring the dwarf right past you. It seems that they were the one that whispered. Sir Ember, your gallant trait will prevent you from not acting.
Yep,
You
I'm
have
going
to do
charge.
something.
I'm going to charge to try to mow down these goblins as if they were bowling pins, and Plum was my ball.
An excellent time. So this is right before they go into the stone-walled garden, and you have just about enough time to give it a shot. Go ahead and make, let's say, a difficulty 4 check, and because this is part of your gallantry, you can do it improved.
Let me try clicking it again.
Aha, there we go. So, there is a sudden rush as, Sir Ember, you hold your broken sword up and let out a little battle cry, and you barrel through these folk, and the dwarf in the irons kind of jumps to one side to avoid it, but you like step on and kick over a few of the goblins, and like one of them is he's maybe 3 feet tall or so, like a meter tall. He's wearing a helmet that is far too big for him, and he like as he gets bowled over, the helmet rolls off, and inside of the helmet is a second smaller goblin that stands up and runs away in the helmet. And there
I
is
think that was my cousin Tiffany.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'll make it home.
But so now there is a bunch of like raucous goblin running around and all that kind of business here. What do you guys want to do here? We'll put a couple of these guys around like so. Sir Ember, you will have just bowled through them. And then we'll put the dwarf here. There we go. So, it's an action scene. Now that we're in an action scene, you guys can give me a thing that you want to do that takes no more than 5 seconds at a time. Start out with Sir Ember, since you are the one that instigated. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I'd like to sort of move Plum in a way where the dwarf could hop on.
Yeah, you can certainly give it a shot.
Grab the dwarf's hand to help them on.
That will be a pretty complex handling of your mount. Go ahead and make it a, let's say, difficulty 3 check.
Uh-oh. It's a 1.
Oh boy, oh boy. You... So the idea would be that you're going to try to grab the dwarf and pull her up onto Plum, and you grab her by the hand above the manacles. As you try to pull her up, you remember dwarves are dense. They are very heavy, and Sir Ember, you and Plum together are fine. You and Plum and a goblin maybe also okay, but you don't think that Plum could carry a dwarf and you, and instead of pulling her up, you pull yourself off of Plum. You tumble down onto the stairs. The 3 goblins that were bringing the dwarf up now all sort of like turn towards you. Barf, what have you got?
What? Shoot, what do I got? Do I recognize any of the goblins?
You might. You want to see if you can recognize them with a roll of maybe difficulty, let's say 4, because they're all wearing kind of weird helmets and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that was a 3.
3 says that you think you might recognize one of them, but you can't quite tell.
I'm just gonna say, hey guys, I'm looking for my mom, hole in the wall.
Now, we've established that basically everybody knows your mom. So, it's a possibility that this might get their attention. And it might distract them for whatever's going to happen next. Miss Aoi, what have you got for us?
So I look at the people, and then I look at like all the faces around me, and then I just sit on the floor, and I'm like, wait, what just happened? And just like be like, wait, I'm sure something important is happening, but I'm not quite sure what. And I'm just like looking at everyone, trying to understand like the exchanges that are happening, and I'm just like very confused and looking and be like, wait, no, what am I supposed to fight? Am I supposed to?
As you kind of sit and collect yourself, you hear a voice that comes from directly over your shoulder. Well, you see, this dwarf was being brought into the little prison, and your friend the fox barreled through all of them. But surely he isn't your friend, is he? And when you turn back, you see, standing maybe 2.5 meters tall, like 8 feet or so, wearing a long, white, furry cape, with his hair sort of like flared back and tall, a kind of like platinum blonde that blends down into a darker brown at his scalp. He's wearing a humongous gold chain with a big emblem down on the front of it that has his face attached to it. His pants are leather and far too tight. And he has in his hand a long black cane with a transparent ball on the top of it. There, standing behind you, is the Goblin King himself.
You!
Okay. Yeah.
Sir Ember, you are busy dealing with the fact that you're trying to lift the dwarf up. There's a bunch of goblins and such. You might not even notice the Goblin King over there. What would you like to do?
Oh, definitely not. I'm staring at these 3 goblins and going, I see, I've got you surrounded. How about thee then? And I'm swinging the blunt sword towards them in their direction. I'm basically, trying to pat them away and parry them away.
Okay, you're going to be fighting 3 of these goblins then. This is pretty difficult, but it is pretty brave. Let's say that it's difficulty 6, but you're doing it improved.
Seems unfair for them, I would say.
Yo!
How about thee? It's a 6 and a 1.
Wow.
Boy, so the first one, he's carrying like a pretty long stick, maybe 5 feet or so long, at the end of which is sort of hanging this like gross pink creature with humongous teeth. and he swings the stick down at you, and the creature like opens its mouth to try to nip at you, but you bring the hilt of the sword up and bonk the stick right in the middle. The stick breaks in half, and as it tumbles to the ground, the weird creature at the end of it kind of like scurries off into like a hole in the wall. The second goblin comes up, and he's got like a very large blunderbuss, and he points it at you, and you just stick your sword into the barrel and stir it around a little bit, and when he pulls the trigger, the black powder blows back onto his face, and he stumbles backwards comically. And the third one, seeing that you just routed both of his friends, turns and runs away 2 steps before realizing that the Goblin King is there, and then falling flat on his face. Barf, you are up.
I want my soup spoon. I want my fucking soup spoon. That man has my soup spoon.
As a matter of fact, he does have it. It's dangling on a little silver chain on his waist.
Oh, I attack it. I straight up just go for it.
All right. Are we doing like a dive grabby hands sort of trying to take the spoon, or are you trying to like damage him somehow?
The grabby for the spoon.
All right. He's definitely taller than you are, and also he is the Goblin King. His aura is pretty strong. Let's make this a difficulty 5 check.
Hey.
Do you have anything that you think would make it an improved roll?
I only have listening, goblin features, and spotting.
Goblin features might actually do it for you, because he expects that because you are a goblin, you are still part of his charge. So you might catch him off guard. Go ahead and roll it improved.
Dad.
Well, you know, you've done what you could there. Mm-hmm. You dive forward and your hands reach out to grab at the spoon, but he looks down at you and sees you sort of stumbling, and he reaches down, grabs you by the back of the collar and puts you back on your feet, taps you on the back and says, "Now then, Bork, the best thing for you will be to go and deal with this fox of yours. Bring him to the beginning of the labyrinth. I'm sure that will take the wind right out of his sails. And you there, Oimu, I think your name was? You can take him as well." Mizawi, you are up.
Okay, so I turned to the Goblin King and like suddenly I have like this anger growing in me. And I'm like, and I just jump on my feet. I'm like, "I'm not responding to you." And I jump on him and try to attack him with my hands because I have nothing else.
Excellent. Yeah, you start to like scurry up his body and try to like bonk him on the head. This is gonna be difficult. Make it a difficulty 6 check for me, please.
Oof. Oof. Well, no.
As soon as he realizes your intentions, he turns into a big white owl and flies up to the top of a roof nearby. And as he lands on it, the claws land on the roof and morph back into his full form again. But now he's wearing all black. He's got a hood over his hair that comes down into a point in the front of his face. In one hand, he's got that cane again, but it's bigger this time. And he points it down at the 3 of you and he says, "I see I have misjudged you. No matter, you'll never make it to the center of the castle anyway. And I think I'm going to keep your little memories. And what is it that I took from you again, Bleep? Your salad fork or something? I can barely even remember." And then he turns and walks. And as he walks off the edge of the house, he vanishes in a puff of light. Every goblin in the scene has disappeared. As soon as the Goblin King showed up, everyone was like, nope, and peaced out. And you are now left with 2 defeated goblins that are kind of like sprawled out, and the dwarf.
Well, damn it! There goes my spoon. It was my spoon. It was my soup spoon. How am I supposed to eat soup?
No, it's not over. It's not over. It's not over. Let's keep going. I
It's
know we can
never
defeat
over.
him.
Yes, I agree. Let's regroup. Dwarf, what was your name?
Sorry, yes, my name is Brockridge. If you could maybe, like, get these handcuffs off, I can just pretend like I didn't see you all get, like, really embarrassingly beaten by the Goblin King, and we won't ever talk about it.
Ridge,
I just want my soup spoon.
I would say we lost the battle, but we didn't lose the war. And that's
Oh,
really
we
how
lost
it goes.
it already. We're just done. I'm never gonna see my soup spoon again.
Barf, think of the sweet taste of a nice warm tomato soup. Think of how
Oh,
comforting.
God.
We will get you your soup back. Never fear. And I'm going to try to. Did the goblins drop a key? Do we have any way to unlock this thing?
Yeah, on the goblin who got the black powder blasted back into his face, there is a little ring of mismatched keys on his waist, one of which goes to the chains that are holding up Brockridge. And as you unlock it, she kind of rubs her wrists a little bit, and she, like, pats you on the head almost condescendingly, and then goes, I won't tell anyone if you will. And then she just kind of, like, sheepishly walks down a nearby alleyway.
Anyone would. I thought we had a rather nice. I thought that was a rather nice rouse. Oh well. Whatever. Where to then?
You know that the castle is in the center of the Goblin City. And you know the direction that you're going. Hey, Aoi, will you roll 2d6 for us, please?
Sure. 6.
Add 6 to it, brings us to... Oh my god, this is amazing. All right, you walk a little further down. When you get further into the city, you see the density of goblins becomes higher and higher. And Sir Ember, you note that you are getting a lot more weird stares than you were moments ago, because there's a lot of goblins around here.
Could from the last fight, did anybody drop there was somebody that their helmet came off, right?
That's correct.
Can I take that helmet and just pop it on top of Ember and be like, there, that'll help?
Oh, how clever. Excellent work. Sir Ember, you now have the quality looks kind of like a goblin.
Perfect. I step off of Plum and I'm just walking alongside Plum as if, it's just a critter that is walking with us.
Excellent. But as you get through this area here, you see dozens of goblin mothers pack the streets, all on outings with their terrible little progeny. The screams, wailing, and bickering is enough to drive passers-by insane. Confusingly, many of the children are as large or larger than the mothers, making them difficult to extinguish. Barf, I need you to make a good spotting check for me, please.
Ah! Oh my god. Okay, 3.
3 is enough.
Yay!
Barf, what's your mom look like?
My mom is small, because Barf is not necessarily tall for a goblin at all, but not necessarily, super small. My mom's smaller than me, though, and, has, her hair in, a bun, kind of like, the old woman in, Spirited Away, like the hag.
Oh,
She
excellent.
basically looks like a goblin version of that hag.
Amazing. Her face is like super wide. She's got a grin that is like wider than her face should be, kind of thing. And she is standing in the center of the crowd, loudly crying out, "Where's my barf? Where are they?" And then like a couple of the other mothers are like snatching their kids away, being like, "No, this one's mine. It's not your barf." And
Mother!
she looks over and makes eye contact with you, and when she like stands up completely fully, and you can hear the cracking, like the popping of her back as she does so, and she throws both arms out wide, and she goes, "Barf!" And she starts just barreling through the other goblins toward you.
Oh, Mom, you wouldn't believe the day I had.
Now, child, come and tell your mother about the horrible things you've done.
Sir Ember and Aoi, what are you up to here?
I'm rushing with Barf because I'm just looking at their mom and be like, oh my gosh, it's the real one. And just like sparkly eyes.
Oh yeah, I mean, you've seen Hole in the Wall before. You haven't seen her like up close, but like to actually meet Hole in the Wall and have this social in of like having hung out with her kid, this is amazing for you. What about you, Sir Ember?
I think Sir Ember is hanging back slightly, observing, watching, keeping his wits about him.
I'm gonna say to my mom, I'm gonna be like, "Mom, I think I've done it. I think I've finally failed our family, and I'm so sorry."
Oh, you didn't fail us yet. What
No,
sort
but
of?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
how'd you do it? How'd you
The
do it?
Goblin King took the soap spoon.
And there is a moment where she like pauses, like stock still, and then she goes, "What?"
I'm so sorry, Mother. He took it. I saw him take it, and I couldn't get it back.
Spoon? You let him take the soup spoon? How are we supposed to eat soup without it?
I don't know.
I think
this
is Sir
Go
Ember.
on.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
At all of this wailing, several of the other mothers start like crowding around her, and like they begin to do this like very big dramatic crying, like, "Oh no, the soup spoon!"
I just imagine that this whole goblin town only has one fucking spoon.
I think this is when Sir Ember walks up and he begins in his usual. If I might, I believe if we think about it, then I think the Goblin King has really taken a soup spoon from each of us in our own way, hasn't he?
It's the soup spoon.
But
Yeah, this-
metaphorically, he's taken a soup spoon from one and each of us, and I think
he's
it's
actually
time we.
taking our soup spoon.
Yeah, metaphorically. And it's the soup spoon.
Sir Ember, you're trying to sweet talk a group of people who fundamentally don't understand the idea of metaphors. This is gonna be difficult. Go ahead and do it at difficulty 5.
Here we go then.
Oh my
It's a
god!
5. It's a rousing speech about a soup spoon and what a soup spoon really means to a goblin.
Yeah, it means we can eat the soup!
And like there's a huge like cry of everything. Aoi, you note that several of the kids are like kind of crowded around this little like circle here, and they've got a little table set up with what appears to be a big like black metal pot with a stick that they're using to stir it, and there's a fire under the pot. And
Soup!
It's soup.
It is the soup, in fact. And one of them looks over and says,
It's my birthday! I can't have my birthday soup without the spoon!
Oh God, we need the soup for this kid's birthday! I failed this young child!
And then you see your mother kind of like resolutely put both feet down, and she holds up one fist, and all of the goblins go quiet, and she goes,
You haven't failed us yet, Barf. You and your 2 goblin friends, one of whom looks surprisingly attractive.
and she kind of
Oh
like
yeah,
bats
he's got
her
a
eyes.
skin condition.
She bats her eyes at Sir Ember, and then she goes,
They're going to go and get the soup spoon back from the Goblin King.
and there's like a cry, and then she goes,
They're going to get it before the party's over.
and there's another cry, and then she goes,
And Barf's gonna grovel at the king's feet until he
wait, hold
gives
on.
it back.
I was gonna kill him.
And
I was just
then-
gonna kill him.
there is a wave of silence before one of the other goblins. He's like a super, like, really skinny, tall goblin. Like if you took a goblin in Photoshop and just dragged the top of it really high up. And he kind of like leans down and he puts his like really long, awkward arm on your shoulder and he goes, You probably can't actually kill the Goblin King unless...
What do you mean?
Well, you know that without the Goblin King, the one who kills him becomes the Goblin King.
Oh well, shit! I don't want that responsibility. I just want him dead.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh shit!
oh.
Yeah,
Take it.
she'll take it.
All eyes shift over to Aoi, and suddenly there's like a rallying cry, and the hole in the wall reaches back and takes the stick out of the soup, and it's this like long, thick, it's like a boat oar, and she thrusts it into your hands, and she says,
Take the stirring stick and strike him down.
and the whole goblin city seems to be on this vibe as they cheer. You are positively carried forward to the bottom of the steps that lead to the castle by this throng of very excited goblins. So ridiculous.
As it should be, yes.
Now, you know the Goblin King is somewhere in this castle. He's gotta be. That's where he said he was gonna be. You stand at the gate. I'm gonna use Aoi's token to mark where all of you guys are, because Aoi is the one that has the stirring stick now.
She
Cool.
is the once and future
I
goblin.
am
king.
stirring you! Yay!
Oh, amazing.
Don't lose it. It's our only stirring stick.
I will not. I will take any responsibility given to me by hole in the wall very, very seriously. Yes. What was the
All right.
responsibility again?
Oh yeah. My mom's basically like the mayor.
Yeah.
I mean, Hole in the Wall is the mayor, and she did say that, the tall guy said that the one who kills the Goblin King becomes the Goblin King. So here you are at the gate, and the Goblin King is on the run now. He never expected you to make it this far, so he's going to throw as many obstacles in your path as he can to delay you while trying to stay one step ahead. You find yourselves at the gate. Let me put your guys up here.
Hi,
There we
guys.
go. Ahead of you, the Goblin King's castle looms. A short stone bridge arches over a moat, bubbling with stinking ooze. A pair of massive wooden doors stands shut. Everything is strangely quiet.
Let's open the door.
Those doors are big and heavy. If you want to try to force them open, you probably could, but you might need help.
Well,
Let's
we got
do
a
it
board
all
here.
together.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, very well then.
All right. With the three of you working together, Aoi, you need to make a difficulty 4 check.
I made a 6.
With a 6. So good. You collectively push these humongous doors open, and they are unguarded. A long flight of stairs leads up into the castle, and there's also a door immediately to the left and to the right.
Have either of you been in the castle before?
Have I?
Have you, Barf?
Right.
Have you, Aoi? You can make that decision now.
I always thought that I did, and that's how I knew that the Goblin King took my soup spoon.
That makes sense. So you have been, at the very least, in the kitchen of the castle.
Yeah.
What about you, Aoi?
I think the further I've been would have been the entrance hole.
Okay, yeah, excellent. You can certainly do that.
Now, did I lose the scrying orb in
I was
that
just
quick
about to
camp?
ask that as well. Barf, do you still
No.
have that class orb?
Barf, you
I
reach
just
into your
have it.
pocket and there's some slime, there's some wet sand.
Oh, I'm not
And-
worried about that.
There is, in fact, that clear marble.
I would like to look into it to see where the Goblin King might be, maybe?
You stare into the marble. It's only like, 2 inches across or so, like a fairly hefty marble, but not exactly an orb. And looking into it, you sort of turn it back and forth, and you see on the inside books stacked on the floor, on tables, on windowsills, sometimes even occasionally on bookshelves. And you see the tall form of the Goblin King, his hood back and his hair feathered out so 1980s like, pacing worriedly back and forth. He must be in the
think
library.
It's the library. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the library.
Okay, I want to do something.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
I want to use I want to take the magic square and try to type door or book to it onto it and see if it opens something to get to the library.
Oh my goodness. This is difficult because it's a piece of human technology and you're not used to that. It is
Maybe the oven would have helped us with it.
right. It is still kind of covered in what is now dry slime. This is going to be difficulty 5. Make your
It's
roll.
just like a Rubik's Cube with numbers and, like, letters on it.
No, it's an old Casio calculator.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think it's just a...
Uh,
4 is
4.
just not enough for it. You see numbers on it. You don't know how to make them make letters.
Okay,
Oh,
I just smash numbers onto it and see what's happening.
I didn't know you also had a numerical device, Miss Aoi. Hey, wait a minute.
Amazing.
Oops. Yeah, we forgot to tell that one.
Oh no. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, well, we'll have to make good after.
Okay.
Right. We'll do that.
Excellent.
Well, anyway.
Yeah, you type a bunch of stuff on it, and it ends up saying, like, 01134 on it, and you think that that's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's neat.
A decimal of pi. That's amazing.
Wait, what?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
You have 3 options.
We have pie now? You've had pie this entire time?
God. Oh, boy. You have 3 options for your egress. You can go...
Why am I messing around with soup when there's been pie?
It turns out that while soup may be the sacred thing, it's only sacred because that's the thing people are thinking about right now.
Yeah.
I guess. Mm-hmm.
You can go up the staircase, or you can go to the right or to the left.
Now I know where the kitchen is.
As a
Can
matter of
I-
fact, you do know where the kitchen is, and I'll show it to you on the map.
Okay.
So, you guys are here in the gate area.
Mm-hmm.
And I will mark the kitchen. Let's see here. The kitchen is number 11, which is here. The kitchen is this small room here.
Okay. So then can I assume that like I want to head in a direction that's away from the kitchen.
Away from the kitchen would be the right-hand passage.
Yeah.
Or
I
the
guess
left-hand
so, yeah.
passage, either way.
I will suggest that we take the right.
The right-hand passage sounds good to me. How does it sound to everyone who's actually a character?
Yep.
Yeah, it smells like it should be this way, I think, maybe. Probably. Who knows?
All right.
I don't.
Then, the lot of you move down the right-hand passageway. Oops, that's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to move the character, like so. The passage slopes down to a long, curving corridor lined with prison cells on either side. The place is filled with the stench of oldness, as well as the grumbles, moans, and insane chattering of prisoners. Flickering torches on the walls throw long, trembling shadows on the floor. Here's Aoi, here's Barf, and here's Sir Ember.
Are there interesting about the prisoners that I see?
We're going to change the thing to be this. The prisoners. Let's see. There are 9 cells here. And in each of them, there are at least 1, sometimes up to 4 different prisoners. Some of them are decrepit-looking goblins. So one of them is like a night troll, the same sort of creature as the bartender was. There is a fuzzy red sort of creature with a long beak that seems to be missing one of its legs. It's not like it's a wound. The leg is just simply not there. There is a cell wherein there's about maybe 20 or 25 big caterpillar worms that could very easily slip through the bars, but they're in prison. They can't do that.
Right.
And further,
Oh, and further, yes.
Yes.
the very last of the cells, very over here on the sort of bottom, the door just popped open, and 6 prisoners are standing in the hallway debating their plan. It seems like they haven't really thought this far ahead. They are 6 very small goblins. They have not seemed to notice you yet.
I want to sneak into the group and make do as if I was part of the group from the start.
I love that.
Oh,
Ah,
God.
Goblin Inception.
Amazing. Yeah, you'll need to do a little sneak check for me, but you're good at this, so do it with
Yeah.
improved.
Well, I'm not very good at it, it seems.
A 3 is definitely enough. There are 6 of them. I mean 7. There are definitely 7 of them. There have been 7 this whole time. You hear them as you're sort of getting in. One of them says,
What if we just got a whole bunch of sticks and then went and led a revolution, let out all the other prisoners, and then went back into the city?
and one of them is like,
Yeah, totally. We could do that. We're just, you're gonna be the leader of the group, right?
and then the first guy's like,
And
no,
no, I interrupt, and I take my steering tool up, and I'm like, I will be the leader. I will lead you and make you free.
there is a sudden, they all turn and they look at you and they're like,
Yeah, we got us a leader now.
as this is happening, Sir Ember and Barf, what are you two up to?
I go, yeah, and they're gonna kill the Goblin King.
Barf, you need to make a fast talking check for me there.
Yep.
Let's do it at, let's say, difficulty 4, because these guys have been in prison.
Hey, it's a 5.
We're gonna kill the Goblin King.
And they all kind of put their fists up and they're like, we need weapons. And then they kind of all go silent and be like, oh, we need weapons, huh?
You got any weapons?
We got a stirring stick.
Stirring stick!
And they all kind of throw their hands up and start cheering and such. All of the worms in the worm cell start kind of cheering as well. They're like, yeah, we want you to support the Goblin Revolution. And then one of them looks over and is like, shut up, you worms. And they went, oh. And then they all kind of go further back into the cell.
We'll bring everyone. You too, worms. You're coming with us.
Yay!
Yeah, can you start trying to open up the cells?
That's what I've been. I think I've been working on opening the cells while they're chatting, looking for any way to open them. I have I don't really have any tools for it, but
The cells are all not locked. It seems that the people who were put in the cells were told that they were in prison, and so they were there.
I'm opening each one and going, you should probably get out of here. You should probably just head that way back up the stairs and just get out of here.
Telling them, no, join us. We're gonna kill the Goblin King.
Seems you've been drafted, so join our ranks then. Here's a scabbard.
You hand the broken scabbard to a weird looking little pink fuzzy guy. He's maybe 2 feet tall or so, like 60 centimeters tall, and he looks at it and then he looks back up at you, and he's got 2 beaks on his head, one on either side, and one of them opens up and is like, thank, and then the other one opens up and says, you. And then he kind of brandishes this 6-inch long floppy leather scabbard as though he's going to do something with it. Let's say that you have about half the prisoners on your side now. You're about to lead a goblin revolution.
Hell yeah, I love this story for AoE. And I look around and see if there's anything that we can turn into weapons.
Yeah, go ahead and make a little look-see spotty check.
Okay. Oh, well, a 2 and a 1.
I mean, it's a 2 is better than a 1, that's for certain.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot. There's the sort of smelly blanket and pillow that's in each cell. But there's not a lot to be used as offensive sort of weapons. Unfortunately, you're out of luck on that one.
I mean, we could use these pillows to smother him.
Ever been to a sleepover? The pillows are weapons.
Oh yeah, last time I went to a sleepover, I killed my other cousin.
Me too! That's so weird we have that in common.
Oh boy.
Wait, you've been invited to sleepovers?
Oh yeah, that's something that happens when people like you.
Oh,
Oh,
we can all
jeez.
have hole in the wall as a mother.
That's so rough. Oh my god.
Future Goblin King you're speaking to.
Goblin King yet.
Oh jeez. All right.
It does say blunt is a flaw.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
flexing
no.
that blunt.
You're certainly not wrong about it. With your new swath of goblins and fireys and night trolls and such in tow with you, you forge further on in the hallway, which is going to bring you guys back down here, and the hallway goes down and does a sharp left turn into this very large sort of open room, and a dizzying sight opens up before you. Staircases, archways, walkways, balconies, they tangle and twist in every direction. Many are upside down, sideways, or even vertical, and seem impossible to climb somehow. There is an intense feeling of confusion and vertigo. You have a whole bunch of, goblin and other folk with you now, also. So, friends, the place looks like an MC Escher painting. It's optical illusions built back on themselves, recursive stairs, things that simply shouldn't exist. What would you like to do?
Can I smash again the magic square thingy and see if anything happens
When
to help us out there?
When you did it the last time, it didn't seem like it was going to work correctly, and you think it might be because the slime dried on it and messed up what was inside. Trying to use it once and having it not work is about as much as it's going to give you, you think.
Okay, too bad. Can I toss it and see if it lands somewhere?
Yeah, you sort of frisbee it out into this strange stairway, hallway thing, and it just kind of tumbles out and then disappears under some of the stairs. And then a moment later, you see it fly across, like, horizontally. And then a moment later, you see it come up from the bottom and clatter onto what seem to be, like, ceiling stairs, and it sticks there.
Goodness. I've read lore about this style of room. There was a knight of yore who once encountered one like it, but I just can't recall. It was with a human girl, and I just can't remember.
Or can you, Sir Ember? The deeper you get into the castle, the closer that memory of your home feels. Go ahead and make a difficulty 6 check to see if you can recall anything about it. You cannot. And in fact, in thinking about it, you cast your mind back, and you see the Goblin King. And you see him standing on the edge of one of these staircases. And then you see him sort of walk forward. And you see him stand on this bit of the staircase. And he points over at you. This isn't a memory. This is actually happening right now. And, oh, that's a bad thing. And he points over at the three of you and he says, "Now you know better than to challenge me in my own domain. I move the stars for no one." And he twists his hand, and some of the staircases begin to like roil and twist up and turn and make it more difficult to get through here. And then you see him turn, swish his cape dramatically behind him, and disappear down this hallway.
Good, Plum. Now we've gone and done it. I say maybe we divide our ranks to increase our chances of finding the right way.
Can we just jump over?
You could certainly try.
Like, we could make a very long... we just all pile each other's onto our shoulders, and then just let the thing falls down on the other side.
Well, you do have a bunch of those other goblins and like other guys and stuff. So if you're trying to stack everyone up on each other and then try to like reach a different bit of the thing, I'm sure you could try it.
I'll help
Let's
with
try
that.
it.
Very well then.
All right. So we're doing some goblin stacking because there's 3 of you doing it. It will only be difficulty 3 to try to get from one side to another. Which of the exits from this room are you trying to reach?
Oh, the one...
Now, I
the
do
Goblin
know where the
King...
kitchen is, so... Not
Barf,
that one.
you know where the kitchen is. You have no idea where to get, like, how to get there from this room because you've never
Right.
been through here.
Got it, okay.
No,
But
in
I have a
front,
general
where...
idea of where the kitchen is about, right?
Yeah, you know the direction. You're just not
Okay,
sure,
so
like,
I say
what
not
stairway.
That direction.
That's fair.
So the stairways that are in that direction, I don't want to go.
Okay, and oh, you
Let's
just
just-
kind of want to take him to the one that the Goblin King was on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then, Ms. Aoi, will you kindly roll a difficulty 3 check for me, please?
Does having sticky hands help me out here or not?
I don't think it'll help you because the people that you are stacking are not themselves sticky.
Ah, that's too bad. Can I just put sticky stuff onto them?
You don't have very much sticky stuff, it's just your hands. Go ahead and make it a straight
Oh.
roll.
Okay.
Difficulty
I made
3
a
it is,
3.
though. So here you've stacked up like a bunch of goblins, a fiery, and one very small night troll. And they reach over and the night troll on top grabs the bottom of a stair and immediately gravity seems to shift for that whole stack. And they all start kind of swinging towards it. And the 3 of you manage to grab on and you all swing across using your rope made of goblins to the other side.
Hooray.
And I scream at the other goblins. Now you try to join us. I know you can do it. And then I let them try, and we can go.
There is a rallying cry from the other goblins, and they start to, like, pump their fists and, like, get themselves hyped up, and then one of them walks onto one of the staircases and immediately, like, lurches to the side and just starts falling through a hole. He falls through the hole on the left door, comes out of the hole on the right, falls through the hole on the left, comes out on the right, and seems to, like portal fall.
Oh,
but-
yeah.
But the 3 of you pass through into the hallway that you saw the Goblin King go in.
Suppose you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs? Shall we?
We're making omelets now? Okay, hold on here. First, I'm sitting here talking about soup, and then you have pies that you're not sharing with us, and now you have omelets you're not sharing? I did you a favor by putting that helmet on your head. The least you can do is share your food.
We will. Once we set Aoi as the Goblin King, you and I will find the kitchen together, and we'll make it all together.
I already know where the kitchen is, but you need to have the soup spoon to eat the soup.
Well, once you have your soup spoon, that'll be the first place we can go.
Yeah, but clearly you have other food options that I didn't even know were available.
We don't have time to explain metaphor now, but
What's a metaphor?
what's the metaphor with you?
What's a metaphor? Yeah, what's the matter with you?
Oh my god.
That's an old joke from my land. It's I guess it's funnier if you were there.
Oh God, you guys are amazing.
But I wasn't there.
Wait, I want to try the metaphor food now.
Oh, look, another room, shall we?
Metaphor food?
Oh no! Oh, we're in this room now. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
We're
God.
in this room now. No, yes, come on.
Oh, this cast is amazing. A room like a dazzling snow globe draped in satin and lit by flickering chandeliers and candelabras. Everything seems to spin and swirl. Strange masked dancers in elaborate costumes laugh, grab your arm, and pull you into the dance. The room is filled with music that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere.
Oh, nice music.
You glimpse in between all these revelers who seem to be humans wearing goblin masks. Fancy clothes with jewels, pearls, gold, and feathers. The imposing image of the Goblin King. He's holding a glass of a deep red liquid, and his face looks pensive and worried. And he catches your eyes, and you see him frown. You have him cornered. What would you like to do?
Do
I wanna
any of these... Oh, sorry, go.
No,
Go
go
ahead.
for it.
I was going to say, is there anything that looks like we could possibly grab to use as a weapon near us?
Why don't you make a little spotting and looking check for me? In the meantime, Ms. Aoi, what have you got?
I wanna try to sneak around the humans to go to the Goblin King without him noticing me.
Ooh, there are a lot of people dressed like goblins in here. You'll probably be able to do this relatively easily. Go ahead and make your sneaking and moving around check. And Sir
Got
Ember.
a 4 in it.
Ooh. Sir Ember, what are you up to?
Yeah, I want to help them sort of get around and sneak up. So Plum and I are just moving around recklessly. We're knocking over, silver trays of food and tables, and we're just sort of making a mess and a ruckus.
In the course of your moving, Sir Ember, you feel a hand on your elbow, and when you look up, it is a dazzlingly beautiful human lady. Her hair platinum white, put up in like a Victorian style, like very fancy hairdo. Her goblin mask with a long sort of like curly, like mosquito-like nose almost, and her eyebrows a sort of like long white feather each, and she laughs and pulls you up off of Plum's back into a messy kind of waltz dance. There is a hypnotic power to it. I need you to make a difficulty 4 check to resist being pulled into the dance.
Oh, nice.
You've got a purpose. And you know what your purpose is. Barf, you see on the hips of many of these people costume weaponry. A saber here, a cutlass there, someone is wearing a brace of flintlock pistols. They all seem to be wearing them for their costumes, but they look worryingly real.
Cool, I'm gonna grab the pistol.
Easy. The man who is wearing it has a sort of brace of 3 of them that go across his chest and onto his hip, and you very easily pick one of them. It's a flintlock pistol. You have 1 shot with it. Miss Aoi,
Great.
you slide through the crowd and manage to duck under and around the dancers and avoid being caught by any of them until you find yourself sidling up very near to the Goblin King. Sir Ember and Plum. Sir Ember, you detangle yourself, find yourself back on your mount's back again, and begin crashing through the crowd over toward the Goblin King. What would you like to do?
I'm going to call him out. And let's see. Goblin King, this has gone on far too long. Now return the soup spoon, and no one will be harmed.
Oh no, he's gonna die! And I pointed at him. I pointed the split last pistol at him.
Return the soup spoon, and perhaps people may not be harmed.
Oh no, he's definitely gonna die!
Return the soup spoon, and I can't guarantee you won't be harmed, but at least you'll
There
feel
you go,
better
that's
about
more
having returned the
accurate.
soup spoon.
Oh boy. The Goblin King makes eye contact with you and then looks over at Barf and sees the costume gun, and then finally looks down and catches Aoi holding the big mixing the big mixing stick as well. And he takes a deep breath, raises one hand up and snaps his fingers, and all of the dancers suddenly stop, stock still. The music fades, and all that you can hear is the ticking of the large clock. So it seems you've caught me. Surely, you don't really intend to try violence on the Goblin King?
I shoot him.
And
All right,
while he's talking, I'm also I don't know how you say, but going over the distance between us with my stick and ready to put it inside his body.
Oh yeah, you're close enough now that if you swung it, you could hit him. And
let's
Sir
do this.
Ember, you are like a few steps away from him now. Barf, you aim the gun and pull the trigger. This is gonna be difficulty 3, I think, on account of how close you are to him.
Yeah.
I also think that your looking and spotting is gonna make your aim really good. Do it
Heck
improved.
yeah. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God.
There is a click and then a little spoof, and fireworks blast out of the end of the gun and pepper his body. And you see him like shake a little bit as he goes back. And he goes, ow, 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 ow! Ms. Aoi, you are there ready to swing your stick at him. Go ahead and make that attack. It's going to be, let's say, difficulty 3 since he is now very distracted. Oh boy. You swing and you feel it connect with the bone in his shin and just a thunk and he, ow, ow, and he jumps up and down holding his shin. Sir Ember, you are up. What have you got?
Going to... Oh, we're gallant, so... Oh well, he's evil. He's been rather rude. So we're going to try to... I'm going to charge Plum forward. We're going to try to hook him with the sort of like tusk of Plum and just like push him back and down so that we're standing over him.
Oh, yeah, that seems... He's already jumping up and down on 1 foot. You're going to be at probably improved and difficulty 3.
Huzzah! He says, clicking the button
Show us what you got.
without a roll.
Button, 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 button. There it
Okay,
is. Oh boy.
Huzzah!
Get that 6. You dash forward and Plum's tusk hooks the bottom of his like pant hem and lifts up, and he and falls on his back, tumbles backwards, and lands just like on his butt with his hands behind him. And he looks up at the three of you and he goes, okay, fine. You can have back your stupid little trinkets. And he reaches down to his waist and plucks the spoon off of his waist. And he looks at it and looks over at you, Barf. And he says, I don't understand what the big deal is. It's just a little spoon. And he throws it down.
The only spoon we have!
He throws the spoon down at your feet, and it clatters to your to like in front of your toes. And then he looks over at you, Sir Ember, and he goes, "It was a memory." And he makes a sort of gesture, and a pink bubble forms over the center of his hand, and he blows it over towards you, and it floats lazily. And then he looks down at you, Owie, and he says, what did I take from you?
That's an excellent question. I hope you could answer me.
And he...
Yeah.
Like, he looks at you and he squidges his eyebrows together, and you see him, like, put his hand up to his chin, and he goes, oh, no, that's right, of course. And he snaps his fingers, and instantly, Owie, your goblin mask falls off. You are a teenager, 14 years old or so. You have in your hand the stirring stick from the goblin camp that is about 30 centimeters long or so. It felt a lot bigger a second ago, but you remember now.
That's why I had no idea who you were!
But you remember now, you had been playing alone at your house. Your parents were out on a date and you were lonely. And you had been reading this fun book, The Labyrinth. And you'd thought to yourself, wouldn't it be interesting if I were a goblin? Then I'd have loads of friends. And I wouldn't have to sit around in this dumb, empty house every time my parents go out on a date. And you said, I wish I were a goblin. And the Goblin King had granted your wish. But you, I guess, had found out that it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. And now looking back at this whole adventure, it was certainly a lot more fun than sitting around in your parents' house all alone. And you've made some friends. Barf, the foul-mouthed and blunt goblin. Sir Ember, the fox riding a pig, who speaks like he's from Shakespeare. And the Goblin King just kind of shakes his head and makes a sort of vague gesture, as if to say, well, you've gotten what you wanted. Off with you.
Oh no, I don't think you heard me the first time. I said you were gonna die, and I start taking the soup spoon and stabbing you with it.
Barf, when you take that spoon in your hand and you rush forward and stab him in the thigh with it, he looks down and goes, oh, great heavens. And then when he snaps his fingers, he explodes into a thick cloud of gold glitter. And in the center of that pile is a crown.
Well, Owie, do you want it?
Sure, I will be the Goblin King. No problem. I'll stay here forever. It's way more fun. Anyway.
Miss Owie, you pick up the crown, place it on your head. You feel regal. Barf, with your soup spoon in hand, you also remember, in the kitchen, they might actually have more of these. You could
There's
be
more of them?
crazy rich. The one soup spoon in your, like, entire generational family is in your hand, the ancestral spoon. And if you brought back new spoons, you could run that city.
Oh my god, I'm gonna go and get some more fucking spoons!
And Sir Ember, you remember. It's been a long time since you've had such a clarity of thought, but you remember your home. You remember how to get there. You remember the rolling fields full of marigolds. And you remember Petunia. It kind of was a shame how you broke that off, and you think maybe you could fix it. The camera zooms out, and the lens kind of distorts into a sort of fish eye. And you see, the audience sees the Goblin King, his black leather-gloved hand staring into that crystal ball with a vague, somewhat defeated-looking smile on his face. And he takes the ball, brings it down, and then throws it up into the air. The camera follows the ball up as it spins, and through the reflection on the ball, you see the form of a white owl take flight and fly off over the Goblin City. And that, my friends, is the end of our session. Congratulations, everybody. I guess you technically kind of killed the Goblin King.
Yeah, well, we have a new one, yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, you've got someone who's got a crown. Well done, everybody. I'm very impressed. This was super, super fun.
This was really fun.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased with this. How did you guys feel? Did you have a good time with it? Did we all have fun?
Absolutely. 100%. I like systems that are, easy and so narrative-driven like this.
Yep.
It's really fun.
I'm very pleased to have had all three of you here. And I would do this again in a heartbeat, because no matter how many times you play this specific TTRPG, there's 100 maps in it, and we hit maybe 9 of them. So,
Wow.
oh yeah, you could do this thing again 1,000,000 times and never get the same results. So,
Oh, I bet. And next time we'll have a different Goblin King, I suppose. I mean, you'll still be running it, but now Owie's in charge, so no.
yeah, the Goblin Queen, this sort
Yeah.
of this sort of like
Yeah.
14-year-old teenager.
I love the idea that it's so counter to the actual movie, where your realization is, actually, this is a lot better than existing in the real world. So I'm
Yeah.
just gonna stay here.
Oh, it's so very... Because, in the movie, the whole plot is that the Goblin King comes and takes the main girl's little baby brother away because she's complaining about how he's kind of a jerk. And then she has to go through this whole thing to try to get her baby brother back. And somewhere in the middle of it, the Goblin King decides that it's not the baby he wants anymore, but he actually wants Sarah, the main character, to, hang out and, stay there forever and, be his companion type thing.
Yeah.
And she decides, no, I'm not having any of that. Not only does the Goblin King not have any power over me, but I'm going to take my stupid brother back, and I'm leaving. And additionally, she gets to keep all the friends she made along the way in the real world somehow as well.
That's
It's
cool.
super wild. I love this
So,
movie so much. It's so good.
I love the antithesis
to
of
watch
that
it.
being Owie going, well, I think I'll just stay here and rule instead. Not only do you have no power over me, but I have your power now.
Yep.
This is
Oh,
a really
man.
fun group. I like the way that we got to play off of each other and sort of weave together.
For sure.
No, this is super cool. Thank you, everyone, for coming and hanging out with us. Hey, Miss Aoi, what are you doing next, and where can we find you?
Hey, so
Opa, you're you're muted.
I talk and
There you go.
sing, so come and enjoy the penguin singing and stuff like that if you like.
Aoi_NB. There's our shout out for Ms. Aoi. If you have not already followed her, you should do it because she's really cool. She does lots of music and stuff. We actually had a collaboration, she and I, on a song once, some time ago.
And we should definitely do it again.
I think that we could probably convince the bards to get in on it. Hey, Play That John, what about you? What are you doing next and where can we find you?
Yeah, the best places to find me are probably on social media, Instagram or the website formerly known as twitter.com/playthatjohn. I drop in on sessions here and there whenever I can, and hopefully we'll have plenty more opportunities to.
Excellent. Yeah, it's always a great time to have the dulcet tones of Play That John's voice on my TTRPG streams. And Karina, how about you? What are you doing next and where can we find you?
I stream every Monday and Wednesday, and then I'm actually gonna join you in like 2 weeks for another TTRPG, so that'll be fun.
Yes, actually.
And then, I also, because I'm a voice actor, you can see me at some conventions coming up. The next convention that I do have coming up is Anime Iowa.
Oh,
and then
excellent.
I have AMA Con in Texas after that, so...
That sounds like a pretty good time. Yeah, there's TTRPG stuff happening on this channel every Saturday for the entire month. Next week we're doing one in Briarwood, which is a system that we've used several times here on the channel before. The week after that we're doing The Quiet Year, and that's where our dear Karina is going to be back in as well. And then the very last week that we will have is one based on the Magnus Archives. So... look forward to all of those. All of them will, of course, be the same time, Saturdays at 7 p.m. Germany time, which is whatever time it is for all of you guys. But yeah, we're doing a good time. Thank you, everyone, for coming in and hanging out and all of that. Let's see who we can throw everyone over to. We have a habit of throwing everyone over to Tadpole Milk, who is a Minecraft streamer who is very cool and very chill. Do we think we're cool going over and saying hello to Tad?
Yep, works for me.
Tadpole _milk_. So here is our raid, and then we'll do a raid message like this. It will be Ponder the Cube with Tadpole! ! The cube with Tadpole. And then the other raid thing looks like this. Boom, but here is our raid message, except for I spelled it wrong, didn't I? Oh well, it's fine.
I always spell everything wrong.
It'll be totally good. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming and hanging out. We will see you again very soon. Here we go. Don't forget to do your homework. Bye-bye.